How is everyone doing tonight? Rocket and I, well, and the other guys, welcome you to tonight's live stream, right? He's actually interested in the bread, but it's over there. That's why he's up here, right? You don't care about the people over there. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Anyways, how's everybody doing out there? Hopefully this thing is working. No. Come on. Your streams when I can, says James Claflin. Well, welcome. You are able to attend tonight, and we are here. Let's see. The sound is good, right? Everything's good? No. Shut up, boy. No begging for food right now. Here we go. Yeah, what are we doing tonight? Okay, I want to talk about the battery. I have a new battery design. I don't have one. I just order it. We just finished the actual design. It's a pretty simple thing, but it's kind of modular. And I designed it for small applications that are kind of high power, right? Like an e-board, a skateboard. I guess it can be used for like e-bikes and stuff. And it's modular. You can add like 2 cells, 2S, 2P, then 4S, 2P, all the way. I mean, you can just keep adding them. And I guess it can be used also for storage. I foresee some people maybe using that also at like 14S, right? That's 48 volts. So then you can do or I guess 7S it won't work, but it will work at 4, at 4. I guess 4S also, all those people that have been asking for a solution for 12 volts and I haven't made one available to them. And there's other people that have done them or whatever. So that's what's in the picture of the thumbnail of this video, and that's what I'm doing. I've been working on my bus out there, and I'm almost done with it. No, shut up. Go play over there. And so that's why I haven't been making any videos, but I have been working on my next battery pack, and I have to finish this one because this one's gonna be for the Samba. I'm trying this new wafer honeycomb, like battery holders or whatever. Yeah, these things are pretty amazing. It's pretty sturdy. They're pretty small and light. They're cheap and absolutely wastes no space. It really condenses your battery. Now, people are gonna say, yes, but there's no gap for airflow, so then you won't be able to cool them. And that's true. That is very true, but I'm gonna design my battery pack so it runs at 1 to 2 Cs max, and at those levels, battery cells, brand new cells, don't really heat up. So, thermal management is not really gonna be an issue on this. This is gonna end up being a giant battery, probably around 80 to 100 kilowatt hours for the bus. And so, yeah, these are not gonna, I'm gonna ask like 1 amp out of each cell, probably like a continuous, and then maybe 2 amps, at peak when I'm accelerating and stuff. And so, yeah, they're not gonna get hot. And so that's why I'm going with this super compact design. I gotta make a bunch of these, make an aluminum box, and I'm starting to design that. But of course, before we do that, I gotta design or at least I'm gonna try to make a PCB board that goes on either side of this, and then I'm gonna spot weld all these cells in here. This is gonna be a 15S battery pack, so 60 volts, right? And then I'm gonna have 2 of these, and that's what's gonna make a full pack. It's gonna be 130 volts nominal, well, 111 nominal, 130 fully charged, and that's gonna be for the bus, because that's what my system operates on, right? But it's gonna be a bunch of these modules. This goes right where the gas tank goes, and I kind of mocked up some cardboard battery box right there, and just to put it in there and just to fit them. And yeah, I'm gonna have enough room to run cables and run all this stuff. Should be pretty simple PCB board to design. I'm gonna see if I can try and get Justin to help me out designing this one too. He's pretty good, and he usually gets stuff done, very quickly, like much quicker than I could ever learn to do the thing. But that's what I am doing these days. Video 9 Sound 9, what are you guys up to? There's 162 of you guys watching. What do you guys have been up to? I want to talk about the Tesla Cybertruck also, and kind of get what you guys think about it. And I want to rant about it because it's stupid and it's hideous and I hate it. I also love it in some ways so much that I'm seriously thinking about building something related to the no. And so, but I want to know what you guys think about it. How is everybody doing over there? So anyways, yeah, let me start reading some of your comments here. Just tell that hot battery people the heat will be used to drive a jet engine on the back of the Samba. Yes, I guess. Yeah, I could. Any Rex for 22-volt inverter that is in grid tie? A recommendation? No, but there are some out there. There's just not a whole lot of them. And so, unfortunately, yeah, I wouldn't have a particular... Let me just throw some of these guys over there so they can go over there. Go over there, boss. Keep them over there. Oh, don't bug me. You're bugging me over here. There we go. We got rid of the dogs. They can go play over there with Crystal. Love the Cybertruck, says Richmond. Really? Did you love it at first sight, though? Because, come on. That thing is ugly. The thing is hideous. That thing is like... thing is ugly. Hi from La Paz. All right. Tobax is from La Paz. Truck doesn't fit in normal garage. Yes, according to the rounds going around, it's not going to fit, and it might be an issue. Unless for people that are, they're not going to, don't garage their trucks. But I think this truck is mostly going to be for people in the city, mostly for wannabe truck people, right? I mean, not that people are people. A lot of people buy trucks and they don't use them. They never haul anything. They never tow anything. They just like the look of it, and they like the idea of being a truck. It's a man's thing. I don't know. There's a bunch of reasons why people get vehicles, and a lot of people don't ever get a truck to use it as a truck, They just get it because some other reason, right? And so you can't discard any of those people, right? Like you can't, I don't know which ones are the biggest. I don't know, like if more truck people buy them because of the towing capacity and the hauling capacity, and how many of you get, obviously there are some, construction people that will buy it to be a truck, but I think there's a lot of people that don't, and you can't just do the thing. Was on the 413 recently, the Cybertruck. Yes, I just read that he like knocked down some street sign or something. So he went to some restaurant. I think it's really big, and it's probably weird. Like he's not used to like the dimensions. I think he just mowed down some sign or something, right? So it probably is gonna take a little while to get used to those things. But I purchased some of the 18650 DIY PCB modules with BMS and charge meter. Is there a shortage or delay in delivery? Yeah, so we're actually shipping those right now as we speak, and I'm waiting on some parts that are on their way here. So some orders are being held back, but we got a ton of orders. So it actually, even if we didn't have stuff that is held on some orders back, I think we'll still won't be done. It's just, you guys order a ton of them. It's crazy the amount of stuff that we sold over the holiday or Friday or whatever. I was kind of blown away. It was about 3 times more than I was expecting to sell. And so as a result of that, yeah, we're, scrambling, and, I have a few people that are working on that, I think, as we speak right now. And so every day their orders going out and stuff. So yeah, it's going to probably take us the rest of this week to catch up and to basically get everything out. That's if everything works out. Everything that we need to finish those orders is on our way to us right now, and should be here. And once it gets here, there's not a lot of, other than a giant volume of orders, there's nothing that requires a lot of time from us. So we should, if we have everything here by like midweek, should be able to get everything out by the end of this week. Yeah, sorry for if you're waiting. I know, you're just expecting this stuff to ship, but yeah, we were kind of overwhelmed with the amount of orders that we got. It's crazy. Torrent site. What's a torrent site? Let's see. Is the future. Bollinger got the right with their truck concept, utilitarian and efficient. I mean, it is. Yeah, it looks like a truck, and people are gonna like. I mean, some people are gonna hate it. People were like, "That's ugly. That's so square. Doesn't have." I guess there's levels for everything, right? It's a spectrum and stuff. But I mean, the Cybertruck took the cake. Let me tell you. Urban areas need delivery trucks to replace diesel cube trucks. That's true. Look at the delivery trucks. Look at the UPS trucks. Like, those things are just literally just a box with a tiny little nose. Oh, and by the way, some of them are actually not even round. Some are like literally like just flat panels, even the nose and stuff, right? But we don't think they're hideous. Well, maybe a lot of us do, but I think we're just all used to it, right? So we're just like, oh, it's just a giant box with 4 wheels. We just get used to it. So I think this truck, it's gonna become normal or whatever. But I think I'm kind of annoyed at Elon because up until this point, like, everyone that doesn't believe in electric cars, their arguments against it or their criticisms against it are being, they're just nonsense, right? Like, right now, it's like anyone that says, like, yeah, those cars are not real, they don't have the same power. Well, okay, that's nonsense because they have more power. They're not as reliable. Nonsense. They're more reliable than regular gas cars. They're too expensive. Okay, that was true at one point. Now with the Model 3, nonsense. When you factor, I mean, even like that, $40,000 car, a lot of people are buying, more cars that are more expensive than that. But $40,000 is not that expensive when you factor in how cheap it is to run them. In a 5-year span, you're going to pay way less than a gas car. So that's a nonsense argument, right? All their arguments, charging speed. It's a huge thing. If you forget to charge it, forget it. You're not nonsense. Now you can go to the charging station and charge in a few minutes. You get enough to get wherever you're going. Nonsense. All their arguments are nonsense. Except Elon now with this truck is like, oh, they're ugly. Teslas are ugly. The ugliest cars I've ever seen. There's no argument for that. That's true. No matter who you are, you can't deny that this truck is ugly. The hardcore, the hardest core, the fanboys, the people who have drank the Kool-Aid, right? The people that are, all in the Tesla cult, right? There's videos where you can literally see their faces when they see the reveal, and they're all, they all threw up a little bit in their mouth when they saw it. So now they're doing this mental gymnastics. They're like, no, it's okay, it's good, But it's not true. This is an ugly truck. We were not ready. It's too far ahead in the future. And so now it's a legitimate criticism for the haters. They're going to be like, yeah, Tesla cars are ugly. And it's true. There's nothing you can, they are. I mean, eventually we'll all learn to love them and like those looks and that styling or whatever. But you can't deny that this is a pretty hideous truck that was dropped on us. And so that's why I'm kind of annoyed, because I think Tesla is not there yet. It's too early. I think that he could have given us a pretty truck, that looked more traditional. And I think most people would have loved it, Had he given us the Rivian, right? Like that styling, right? Right? When the Rivian came out last year, some people were like, oh, those lights are ugly, But it's nothing compared to the reaction that this thing had, right? So there's people that love it, people that hate it, but I think generally it would have been accepted and liked, where I think generally this thing is considered to be some crazy truck, right? But I know people will say, like, yeah, there's 250,000 pre-orders, and I'm like, yeah, $100, $100 refundable, and only $250,000? Like, you gotta be kidding me, right? If this is literally the best truck in the market, you should have millions in pre-orders. This is not a win. This is a fail in my point of view, because it only costs $100 and it's refundable to pre-order one, and only 250,000 people did it. Like, this is crazy. Like, some people did it just to be in the club of, oh, I pre-ordered one. You know what I mean? Like, so anyways, that's my take on it. I know we're gonna learn to like it, and I kind of already am starting to, because have you guys seen the renders of like people have done of like other cars? They're saying like, well, you know, if the Cybertruck looks like this, you know, maybe you should have like some other cars, you know, like the Model S should be like cyberized somehow, right? Or the Model 3 or something. And those renderings are looking pretty cool. And I'm like, man, maybe I should build one of those, you know? I don't know. Have you guys seen those renders? If you have, if you can share some, I would love them, because I've seen some, but I'm pretty sure there's way more out there than I know, and you guys have probably seen them or stuff. They should make a small truck, says Slate 420. I believe that is true. I mean, I don't know what the market is for small trucks, because remember, everybody used to make them. I have one. I own one right now from Toyota. It's one of those little, like, you know, like 4Runner trucks, but the little simple ones. But they don't make them anymore. It seems like the small truck market kind of went away, and I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's because people weren't buying them, or because manufacturers just decided that they're not going to offer that and screw everyone that wanted one. But yeah, I think the small truck was a thing back in the day, right? I'm building an e-bike and I want to build my own pack, says Ethan Lubin. Any cells you would recommend? I am leaning toward 4P and need 28 amps, so 7 amps from each cells. Yeah, the VTC 6s are the best cells. That I mean, you know, there's other cells that you can use, but those are, I think, the best. They're premium cells, and, you know, you can buy them cheap at EV West. He said he was going to break them down into smaller than full cases, but he hasn't done them as of yet. I know I order like 10 cases this week so that I can do that on my own website, and I'm going to do that. In fact, if you go to my website right now, Jack35, you could order. Are they sold out? I don't know, they might be sold out, but I think you can order just in a box of 100, and they're already going to come, you know, pre-wrapped or whatever. Once I release this new battery pack, then I'm going to break those even down to like 10 cells, or no, 20 cells and 40 cells, because then that's what it takes to make one of these little packs for this, you know, e-boards and stuff like that. E-bikes, I don't know what the e-bikes are. I mean, I have one here that has quite a bit of them, probably like 50 cells or something like that. So that's probably maybe like the size that typical e-bikes are. And maybe I'm going to make some boxes of that size. So I'm going to rebox them in that size and offer them in those quantities. Because I remember you guys did order quite a bit of them like that in those quantities, right? So it's kind of hard to move them by the case. And, you know, we're going to try and do that and offer them here on my website. With a wall of 18650 stacked on his desk. What? Cybertruck to be made in China factory? Probably, right? They're gonna, that China factory is probably gonna be making all the models. That's a huge market, and yeah, I'm sure they're gonna eventually be making all of them. Cybertruck versus Ford F-150 is the new JC versus NAS beef. There you go. Slap some 240 volt panels on the back of that Cybertruck and go camping. Electric Ford Transit Connect would be great, all electric. They used to make them. They made a few of them, but they didn't really make them to they was a compliance vehicle, right? Michael Haxis use 30Q cells for e-bike pack. Yes, so the 30Q cells are the same, you know, the same type of cell, or the equivalent of the Sony cell, but on the Panasonic, right? No, the Samsung 30Qs. Panasonic made the VTC 6s. What are the other ones? The other manufacturers have similar, that have similar specs or whatever. Why can't we have an electric minivan? Local deliveries would be perfect. Yeah. In fact, I don't know. So, with that in mind, like, I mean, I'm kind of like the minivan guy, right? With my buses, the electric minivan. Um, no one, minivans are not, they're not cool, I guess. So no, I haven't seen a version of this Cybertruck thing. I did see one, but it looks terrible, so I didn't like it. Um, if I were to find a design or someone come up with a design, a concept for like a classic or a minivan, right? Cybertruck style. I might choose that to make that, right? To like just just to go in there and start with the pan and batteries and motor and wheels, suspension, and then just bolt on like some some stainless steel body that I can weld and fabricate on my own. Because it's easy to fabricate. They're like straight panels. I can do that. Anybody can do that. Can you put two 8S BMS to make 16S BMS? Yes, I've done that successfully before. I think it really depends on the BMSs if they can handle the extra voltage. But I have done that successfully, and I've seen people do crazy stuff, like put like 4 or 5 BMSs in series to get up to like 150 volts or almost 200 volts or something. It works. It's worked for them, but I think the MOSFETs then start failing when you overvolt them that much. So I couldn't tell you exactly how reliable that would be or whatever, but it can definitely be done. Can I use 18650 cells charged up to 4.2 volts in packs using a BMS, or have to discharge them up to 3.7? No, 18650 typically can be charged to 4.2 volts. Yeah. 3.7 volts is the nominal voltage. That's where they spend most of their time at 3.7 volts. Let's see. How far do you drive daily on the basis? I don't. If that's for me, that I don't drive that much. That's the coolest BW van. The BW bus is kind of square too. Well, not really. It's really round. Everything's rounded. There's no sharp corners on my bus. It's all rounded. If energy can't be created, destroyed, only change form or transfer, we are all energy. Explain creating energy when you create a child. Well, yes, we're all energy. I mean, we're basically sunlight. If you really think about it, we're sunlight. Because think about this. Sunlight comes in to the planet, and the plants eat sunlight and water, and then they create, they grow, and then some animal eats those plants, right? And then we eat those plants, and then we eat those animals, and then that feeds our... Yeah, so that's where we get our energy, essentially. I mean, we're sunlight. Everything goes down to the sun, and that's atomic energy, right? That's those atoms are they being fused together or being split apart? They're being fused, right? I don't know. Fusion or fission? I forget which one is happening in the sun, but it's atomic energy. Not sure if I can ask a new question here, but my wife has all those Christmas LED lights, and they use 3 AA batteries. Can I just connect a 18650 instead of that? And does it need a discharge protection chip? It just depends, but 3. So alkaline batteries are 1.5 volts, so you're talking about 4.5 volts. Yeah, so one 18650, it's 4.2 fully charged, so you're almost the same voltage, but then it's gonna drop to 3. Yeah, if they operate around 3.7 volts, your lights, right? Yeah, you can connect a single 18650 there and then just run it, and it should be okay. Yeah, it depends on if the lights are smart, if they have, whatever variance of voltage you need or what, but you should be able to do it. Try it. Try it. It's the funnest way to find if thing works is by just trying it. We're all made of stars. That's true. So most of the components, most of the elements in our cells and our bodies are stuff that was made in the stars, or in the death or birth of stars. Yeah, it's crazy, but yeah, we are the dust of stars plus water and sun. I'm Joe Dirt. A BW bus has a very low CD. Actually, it's not that bad. You would think it's terrible, right? But it's not that bad when you look at it. I think it's 0.23 or something. Someone can look it up quickly on Wikipedia, but it's actually better than the Beetle, believe it or not. And it's actually better than some other cars that are semi, classic, like sports cars. It's not that bad, actually. There's far worse than the BW bus, but it's not great. I give you that. What is the voltage preferable for using 1866 in packs having BMS? There is no such thing. It's a range. It's anywhere from 2.5 volts to 4.5. That's the range. Fully charged, they're 1 voltage. Halfway, they're another voltage. Fully discharged, they're another voltage. So stay between those two there. There's slight variances between some variant chemistries on the cells, right? But most of them, generally, they're all lithium cobalt oxide types of chemistry. Some have aluminum, some have manganese, but they're all 3.6 nominal, 3.7 nominal. Typically all 4.2 the max, 2.5 the very bottom, the least that you're safe using. Anything beyond that it will cause too much damage to the cells. But if you stay within that range, you'll be fine. Let's see here. Are you still running your Samba monitoring without BMS protection? Yeah, so I'm still running my bus without BMS. It's worked for me. I kind of thinking that I want to BMS it moving forward, just because those packs are aging, and probably if there's going to start any drift happening in those cells, it's probably going to start now, right? It's going to start happening now that they're older. I mean, you think about it, they're 10-year-old packs, right? And they have low miles or low cycles on them. I don't think I have more than 500 cycles on them, probably, right? But yeah, I think if it starts happening, then I want to be able to know, or at least have some level of safety, like a little automated thing, right? So yeah, that's I'm gonna see that, because I'm gonna take those out of my bus, and I own those, so I'm gonna see where I put them. Probably gonna put them in another vehicle, and then once I install them there, I'll put a BMS. The sunlight just powers the matter conversion. The mass of the earth and its inhabitants are mostly constant. Water plus CO2, plant use sunlight plus fuel or food. Are the 9S ATL fireproof batteries better off for an EV conversion, or can they be used for a home power wall? Yeah, they can be used for anything. I mean, if you can find the right equipment to use them for, right? The only problem with those is that their BMS is kind of unreliable. So, not in a dangerous way, but it kind of if it gets triggered where it has to disconnect the battery because the voltage is too low or too high, then it usually just that BMS will just not wake up again. It will never reconnect that battery, and so as a result of that, then it kind of breaks your pack, right? And it's not dangerous because it's disconnected, but it's unreliable because then you have a pack that you can't wake up. It's like all cells are there, they're too low or too high or whatever, or one of them was off, and instead of like doing what it needs to do to fix it and then reconnecting the pack so you can keep using it, it just kind of never reconnects it. And so it sucks because then you have to try to fix it, right? You have to go in there, and probably the best way to fix it is just by removing that original BMS and installing it with the new one. But there's not a ton of 9S BMSs available in the market. I found a couple of them, and I was messing around with the idea of like putting those, installing different ones. It's just too much work for that. It's too much work, and so that's why I kind of gave up on them. Like, there's far easier batteries to use, right? I don't know. Yeah, I think Tom probably sold a bunch of them this past week because he put them really cheap. I think, right? Like he had them like at $7 or $5, some crazy like low number, right? And he probably sold a bunch, so people are gonna be asked, figuring out. Yeah, and so it's challenging. One way to prevent from the BMSs to go bad is to have an external way to prevent them from triggering the BMS to step in, right? So it's like not letting your pack go below like 33 volts or something like that, and don't let it go above 42, right? So I think if you stay within there, then you should be fine, and maybe that BMS will never trigger and will never break itself, right? But without extensive testing, I couldn't say for sure. I tried it for a little bit, but yeah, I mean, so it's a weird thing. Good luck with those packs. I was really taking it upon myself to figure those out, right? Because I was helping Tom, but I don't know. Me and Tom have, our relationships changed recently, and I don't think I'm gonna. I don't know. We don't know where we're at. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna keep pushing his batteries, in the future, right? So, yeah, we're gonna have to renegotiate and figure out how we're gonna work again, because he kind of just changed our agreement, and I had no say so. So I'm like, oh, okay. So we haven't spoken. He signed up, he partnered up with some other guy, and that other guy has different ideas, and so I don't know. Well, I'm gonna have to go and talk to Tom and see how if we can keep working moving forward. But as of right now, I don't think I'm gonna be pushing his batteries, and so that becomes somebody else's problem now, unfortunately. So let's see. Hey, Chief, would you recommend people not active yet to wait for solid-state batteries? No, I don't know if solid-state batteries are coming in 2020, to tell you the truth. I don't believe in technologies until I see them. I know there's a lot of stuff coming in the future, but even if they do show up in 2020, they're going to be, prohibitively expensive for the average person, right? And so I'm not a fan of uber, expensive technology, right? So batteries, if they're too expensive, if they're not available, if they're hard to get, I'm not a fan of them, right? I want to be able to get stuff that is accessible, right? So that I can, so that we can make a difference in us, not just on the rich or, the uber rich or the people that have means to try the latest and, So, yeah, I wouldn't recommend you do that. I mean, unless you have a lot of money and, you want to be at the cutting edge, and you could do that. But I think generally not for my audience, not for the general population. I think most people just want a battery that just works and doesn't cost you, an arm and leg. How do I separate 80s 50s to make a battery pack for solar reason why I ask is because I recycle from laptops and power tools people throw away. I mean, you got to test them, right? I have tons of videos where, we discussed doing all this back in the day. Yeah, I've talked in length about this stuff in many videos, and many of these live things or whatever. But yeah, go and watch some of those videos. There's a whole process. I've done them one way, and then some people have gone and changed the procedure and stuff. But yeah, essentially you have to separate them all, then test all the cells, because you don't know where they're at. You don't know which ones are the good ones, which are the bad ones. And particularly in laptop batteries, usually, a high number of them are going to be like, not good, right? So about 50%, I think typically that's what we were seeing. I know there's some people that were getting from different sources, that were getting more, like higher, a higher percentage of them that were good. But I think typically was my experience, about 50% were bad. And so that means you have to weed out the bad ones from the good ones. And there's a whole process where you get a bunch of these little battery testers, and you clean the cells, you put them in there, and you test them. You ride the capacity on the thing, and once you have all cells and you have enough cells of similar capacity, a similar condition and health, then you can start building battery packs, right? So yeah, it's a whole process, and it's quite a bit labor intensive and stuff, right? And so yeah, go watch some of those videos in there, how we were doing all that stuff. Yeah, have you ever had a battery fire? No, never had a battery fire, unfortunately. It is my, because of I never had a battery fire, it's my belief that batteries are pretty safe. I do know that occasionally they go off. I mean, I've read accounts of people leaving a battery sitting there in a desk, months and months after, and it just one day just self-combusts for no reason, right? Or no apparent reason. I believe that is true. I mean, it can happen, right? But I'm literally surrounded by thousands of batteries, and I try not to, abuse them. I try not to do dumb things with them, overcharge them, over-discharge them, or to be negligent, or to be irresponsible with them. And pretty far, batteries have proven to be very safe, with my methods of using them. I've tried to get some to catch fire on purpose at one point, and from what I remember, it was really hard. Like, they just wouldn't burn. They wouldn't catch fire. You'd have to do like some outrageous things to them, like throw them in the fire, or just like literally just blast them away with thousands of volts or thousands of amps or something, typically, I haven't. I think they're pretty safe. There's billions of batteries out there in the world, and only a few catch fire here and there. Sun is fusion, hydrogen fusion to helium. There you go. Milwaukee, 18 volts, 12 amp hour lithium ion battery build price. As far as we know, I'm from other dependent in that case. Stardust, the basic of all matter. Gold was created by a dying sun. There you go. See, so a star that is dying goes through such explosion and fire and all that stuff, that those conditions are what's needed in the universe to create an element such as gold. So whatever gold is on Earth came from one of those events, right? Right. So one of those things happened in the universe, and then that stuff all flies in every direction, and enough of it came, this way, and it merged with all these other things, and then eventually that became our planet. So those are the theories, and we know this because scientists know what it takes to make those elements. Everything comes from the same matter at the beginning of the universe, and we kind of know what it takes to shape it and form it into different things, like gold. And so, yeah, it's like, everything that we have in our bodies was created in such of those events in the early universe. Or so it's believed, right? I know there's a lot of people that don't believe in that stuff, but I do. It makes sense. How did life come how did life come from non-life then? Well, that is the $1,000,000 question. Nobody knows. I have 18650 batteries with 131 degrees Fahrenheit charging them. Use 500 milliamp hours. 131. That's not super. That's not super hot. Yeah, cycled them a few times. I think all batteries, when they've been dormant for a long time and you charge them, discharge them for the first time, they tend to be a little bit hot, warm, you know. And then on subsequent cycles, then they don't heat up anymore, or they heat up less, you know, until they reach a point where they just, you know, they reach their normal running temperature, right? Yeah, typically, right. So 130, yeah, it's not, you know, that's not super hot. You know, that doesn't burn your hand to the touch. That's like, you know, you're 131. That's like almost like, you know, if you're working out, you can be, your skin's probably that temperature. I don't know what's the highest temperature skin can be at. How can I convert an electric AirPod? What's an AirPod? Electric AirPod? 120 volts to 220. Huh. What is that? Hawkins, good point, but mega corps are investing hundreds of billions and really pushing it. What are we talking about here? Jax, it will hurt battery life a lot. You don't get much capacity after 2.5. The voltage will just crash. Yep. Yeah, that's where all the degradation happens, in those extremes of the voltages. So the more you can stay towards the center, the more cycles you'll get out of the cells. How much your current will kill you? I think that just depends, right? Turns out our skin, it's very good electric isolator. I can touch 60. I wanted to try that. I wanted to try 100 volts, because I know 60 won't, you know, you can't feel it unless your hands get sweaty. If they're sweaty, the sweatier your hands are, then the more you start feeling it. You even feel like 30 volts, 40 volts, 30, 40 volts. You know, if you put them in your arm. Once I was carrying a 10S pack like this in my arm, and my arm got sweaty, and I was like, whoa, you know, it was tingling. And it was getting a little, a little bit uncomfortable, right? But, you know, usually I can touch 60 volts with my hands as long as they're not wet. And you can probably go very close to or past 100 volts, and you will not feel it because your hands are, your skin is really good isolator. Right? But sweat is not. Sweat has salt, and salt is conductive or whatever. So yeah, all of a sudden you become conductive, and then you can feel everything. So it really depends, I guess. I have a 1980 48 Dodge V1 truck fund, a DC motor rated at 100 horsepower. How many volts should I run? And are eBay 18650s any good? I guess there are some 18650s that can be found on eBay that might be good, but typically there's a lot of scams, so be careful. As far as the volts, I don't know. I mean, you have to really see what that motor was designed for, but typically large DC motors can run up to 200 volts, kind of safe, right? I think anything beyond that, then it's kind of too hot for the brushes, and they start wearing out quickly, and they become really unreliable. I know that this is the reason why we don't use DC motors on electric cars today, right? Even though they're very popular, there's technology that's there, there's motors everywhere. There's just, they require too much maintenance with the brushes. They just don't run. There's no way to cool the brushes when they're arcing and stuff, and they tend to arc at those upper voltages and stuff. And so, yeah, you end up having like to have to change them all the time, and you know, all that stuff. Have you seen the aluminum one use batteries that supposedly can get 1,500 miles on an electric vehicle? No, I haven't seen those. But it's not dangerous to try. How can you convert an electric AirPod. I don't know what an AirPod is. What's an AirPod? An AirPod? I finally made it to the live stream after weeks of missing them. Scooter, no, you haven't been missing them. I haven't been making them. I've been really concentrated in doing the BW bus. Oh, by the way, here's a little update on my bus. So, I'm weird, right? I'm weird. Like, I can be dumb and stupid, I guess, at points, right? So I really wanted to get my bus finished and painted so I can take it to fully charge in 2 months. Well, that was like 5 weeks now or something like that. It's February 1st and 2nd in Austin, Texas. And I'm like, I can do this. I can totally do this. You know, if there's no shop that can do, I can do it. I can get my hands dirty. I've done this before. I can DIY. Like, I don't know how to paint a car, but I can learn, right? I can try it, make mistakes, fix them, try it again, make mistakes. If I have to paint the bus twice because I made so many mistakes that I didn't like the finished product, I can do that, right? But then I thought, well, but I need a car because I can't be without a car. I mean, I guess I could be without a car, but I just don't want to be with it. And that's the part where I'm down. Like, I don't even need to go anywhere. Why do I need a car? But I needed a car. So I'm like, and I don't want a new car. I don't want to rent one because that's just like wasted money in my brain, right? So I'm like, screw it. I'm just gonna buy another bus, and I'm gonna fix it. Just like to be ratty, and and then I'll drive that. So that's what I've been doing all this month. Cause it's stupid. Because I could have been using that time to work on the bus and paint it, right? And that's taken me longer than I thought it was gonna take me. Because I'm dumb and I can't just like half do something. Like I have to there's a lot of, I can give you tons of examples where I don't need it to do the thing that I was doing to do that far, of degree, but I end up doing it, right? And so as a result, here we are. Half the time that I had to paint my bus, I've spent working on some other vehicle. And so I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna have to cut too many corners to paint this bus on my own. And the more I'm thinking about it, I'm like, no, I don't want to cut corners. I want to do this right. I want to do this paint right. If I do it, or if someone else do it, whoever does it, it's gonna have to be done right. And I don't want to cut corners. And so then I decided that now maybe what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show it halfway done. I'm gonna prepare it. Because there's something about, like, a vehicle that is underway, like, that it's on its way to be finished. There's something beautiful about that. If you present it correctly, right? I've been watching a lot of videos to get inspiration and stuff. And, like, one of the things that I like is some of these cars where they're doing the metal work, right? And some of these guys are crazy good at doing the metal work, where it has to be perfect. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but some people are like, we're going to make it perfect because it's some rare car or whatever. And they start working on the metal, and then they get it down to bare metal, and then they're like, they use this wire brushing thing, and it's all shining, it's all metal, and they get the entire car perfectly. All the welds disappear because they, like, dress them up, and they grind them, and they, and so by the end, you're like, well, that's a new piece of metal. Half of that fender is new because he had to he replaced it with, but you can't see where the joint is at because they spend so much time, right? And I'm like, what if I can get my bus there? I know I can do that. Like, I've been doing metal work on this other bus for a month. Like, I'm good enough, and my bus is that far enough that I think I can do that. So I think I can take it to and present it in a way where it's all like bare metal and then super shiny, like, and then the batteries are there and the new motor, and like it doesn't matter if it runs or not. Like, I can drive it and roll it in there. It's like it's a piece of art or something, It's like it's a thing that you can appreciate for the build and the mechanics of the whole thing or whatever. Like, I'm like, okay, maybe that's what I'll do. So that's where I'm at right now. That's the plan. I don't know if that's gonna pan out, but as of right now, I'm like, yes, I'm gonna do that because I'm not gonna cut corners. I'm gonna do the metal right, It's gonna be perfect. You know, the seams are gonna be able like hard to find. You know, when I take it to, if I do it myself or if I take it to a shop to paint it, they're gonna be like, whoa, this thing's amazing. You know, yeah, it just needs light filler here and there because the panels are super straight or whatever, and then, you know, spray the thing or whatever, you know. I don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm gonna give it my best anyway. So that's the little update on where my bus is at, and I will make a video on the secondary bus once I get it rolling. This week I have to go and get the rear end from a local company here, a builder that makes them or whatever. I'm gonna end up doing like, you know, independent suspension, so it's everything's upgraded and all this other stuff, and yeah. So I'm gonna make a video about that and then compare it to the original or whatever. So we'll have those videos. Imagine a Cyberpunk tri-motor with a tow with battery packs. Yep, you would. Yeah, that would be awesome. I have 1860 batteries with 131 charging. I got it already down, right? Did I? Right? 131F is too high. I mean, it's too high for normal usage. But like I say, cycle them a few times. If they keep being that hot, yeah, don't keep using them. But if they get settle down and they don't heat up in subsequent cycles, then yeah, it's kind of normal. Like many times it's normal. It's common that batteries will do that. I'll be excited for a battery that's the size of a fuel tank and the same kilowatt hour as liters. Replace a 60-liter tank with a 60 kilowatt hour battery, the same size. That would be cool. Yeah, we're quite a ways from that, right? In fact, this box right here, this is the box that I'm going to place. I made it out of cardboard, right? It's going to be made out of aluminum, and that's going to be on the back of the bus, and this is essentially going to occupy the space where the gas tank is at. Now, the gas tank, it's not this big. It's a bit smaller than this, right? I'm occupying every single inch. Like this box barely going to fit in there, but I will be able to fit what? I'm going to be able to fit, oh my God, how many? Oh, 2,100 cells. Configure this way, right? 150 cells. So is it 7 or 14? Maybe 14 of these, I think. 14, yeah, 2,100 divided by 150, I think it's like 14 of these guys. And that's going to yield about 25 kilowatt hours or 26, something like that. So, something like 26, 27 kilowatt hours. So I think that's just shy of 100 miles on my bus. Well, at 60 miles an hour, right? So, I mean, we're almost there, but not quite, right? I think I can probably squeeze more batteries in that same space, but then it starts getting like really hard because then because this is just the easiest way, like 15S here and then another 15S, that's a 30S, and then you can do like, you know, 7 of these modules that are full packs or whatever, right? So we're almost there, but yeah, no, I think you still need quite a bit of more. I think that gas tank, I mean, that space could probably hold like 15 gallons of gas or something, right? Which that would yield quite a bit more than 100 miles on a Volkswagen. So, yep. I have a project that calls for fairly big battery, 100 amp hours and 100 amp draw to support a kilowatt inverter. I want LiPo4, right? Lithium iron phosphate. Does it make sense to build my own pack or just buy Ono or something? Yeah, that's not too big. 100 amp hours and 100 amp draw. I mean, let me show you a battery that you can buy and put it together yourself. Okay, here we go. This is a 100 amp hour. Yeah, 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery. This is one of the smallest, most compact, right? Most energy dense battery. Will this do 100 amps though? I remember the only problem is that, yeah, these don't put out a lot of power. I'm not I don't remember off the top of my head to tell you. You have to watch. I did a video, I reviewed these, and I tested them to see if they would do the, you know, the capacity, right? And I was blown away in the fact that they did. They came in at exactly 100 amps. So, you know, what you can do is like, you can do one, and I think it might run a little hot at 100 amps. So what you can do is like get two of these, right? And then put them in parallel, and now you have 200 amp hours. And then you can run them at 100 amps, no problem. These won't get hot at that, right? If you pull 50 amps off of each one of these. Or there's other types, right? And there's other ones that are a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier, but then they could totally do 3C, no problem. And so then you can get, you know, out of 100 amp hours, you can get like 300 amps off of them before they start getting hot or whatever. So, yeah, you definitely can buy these. And I think these are like around $500 or something like that. You can find them on Amazon. Where, like, if you buy one off the shelf that is a, you know, 100 amp hour, you're looking at more like $1,000 or something like that. They do have a BMS. And so you would also have to buy the BMS on the side, which is another $100 or something. So you could save, you know, I don't know, like $400, 300 to 400 or something like that, if you build it yourself. And there's not a lot of building that goes on this. You can watch that video, and I kind of walked through the whole process of it. So there we go. Let's see here. New one, Rodrigo says, hello, are you not answering my question? I'm not sure. What was your question? I probably skipped it because I'm skipping a lot of questions because I'm going slow. The last thing here is done. Well, I don't know. An electric car that is powered by electrolytes of our digestive system. There you go. I mean, I could have it. I don't see why not. It's just, you know, you're just gonna need a lot of digestive juices. Preparation is everything for painting. It's like 80% preparation and 20% painting work. Yeah, so that's why I don't want to skimp on the preparation. I want this metal to be as straight as possible. I want it to look beautiful before any product goes on it, because then I know by the time that, you know, filler and, you know, primer goes on and paint, then it's gonna be okay. It's gonna look good, and I'm gonna be proud of it, and I'm gonna be able to show it at a show. And that's, of course, there's a big company that supposedly is looking for a classic car that's electric, and they make a paint chemicals, and so they want to actually restore a vehicle and to show it at their show. And so they would offer to like paint it for me and restore it, you know, do the work, and then they would show it, and then after that they would return to me. And if that's the case, then it won't go to the show because they'll have it, they'll be working on it. I think their show is like in March or something, and then after March, and I can have it back. So that's the case. If that happens, I was kind of waiting for them to contact me because, you know, it was through it was through EV West or whatever. If that pans out, then that's what's going to happen, because I'm not going to turn down, you know, and of course they would do a good job because they're trying to showcase their product, and of course they're not going to do a bad paint job on a car while trying to show their paint, right? And so, you know, if we can work something out where, you know, an exchange for me letting them use my car and they would do the work, I'm down for that, right? And so that might still happen, but it's kind of still up in the air or whatever. Let's see. Hold on, guys. Let me just take a quick break. Okay? All right. Of course, that was right. Oh, look. Rocket is back. No. No, 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 no. No, no, no. Okay, I mean, you can stay here, but don't bug me too much. That was Michael's truck. That's a BW bus. And we were on our way to Buses by the Bridge, which is like, 300, almost 300 miles away from us. And, we took that trip, and it was my bus and his bus. And, it was the first time that we kind of went far into some other state, cross state line trip or whatever. I recorded the whole thing, made like videos, and they're like older, like 2-3 years ago or something like that. So that was a little clip of that. Just for those of you that haven't seen those old videos and stuff, there's a lot. I did a lot of stuff back in the days. These days, I'm choosing my projects a little bit more carefully, and they're getting more advanced, but they're taking longer and stuff. Oh yeah, and the dogs are back at it. It's usually accepted around the 50-volt mark starts to become dangerous. Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. It can. I think probably lower than that. It can be dangerous, like I said, if your hands are wet and stuff, right? With the right conditions, you can really shock yourself. AC shock, just don't drop anything blood into the bathtub with you in it. Doing body work sucks. Not a fan of thin metal work. If I can't make it out of plate for sure. Yeah, it's tricky. I actually order a smaller wire. I did like 0.26, I think, instead of the 0.30 that I have. I'm gonna try, because it's just, I'm having trouble doing like consistent weld lines. I'm doing like spots. Those will work fine, but it takes a long time to do the little spots and spots and spots, right? Definitely the car there has like an old fix that they did back in the day, and it's got a continuous weld bead through like big parts of the body. And I'm looking at him like, how did this guy do this? Like, didn't warp the metal, didn't burn holes through it. Obviously he was good at what he was doing, or he had the right equipment. I'm thinking that maybe it wasn't MIG welding, that it was like TIG welding, right? Because I probably think you can do smaller beads and you have way more control on TIG than MIG, right? And so maybe that's what it is. Or maybe he just had the thinner piece of, wire. So the thing is that there's a thinner gauge of wire that I can use, and I'm going to give it a shot and see if that works. Hey, what's going on? What are you doing? Look, he's just playing. Look, he's just trying to get these guys to fight him. Okay, let me move this battery here. Don't electrocute yourselves. Okay. Are you the man that electrified a Volkswagen? Yep. I'm on my number 2. I've done others for other people, right? But yeah, I'm a personal one, my number 2. Electrocution comes in 2 ways. One is to stop the heart for long enough the body cannot recover. The second is to shut out the neutral synapses in the brain. Huh. That's right. Yeah, right. Because your brain uses electricity, and so if you if you screw with those signals, then your brain might die. Yeah, that's crazy. This video will get 4,000 miles per charge. 3 milliamps will kill. There we go. See, very little current will kill you if it's done right. I think that's pretty hard. I mean, the stars have to align correctly for this little power to kill you, right? I'm going to bed. Have a great day. There you go, Mike JF. Good night. That is ridiculous. I did not mean to say that. That's a big one. I was answering the shocking experience from his test idea from 60 volt to 100 volts. So out of experience in my younger years, learning electricity. You've tried that, huh? Hey, stop being crazy. 28 volts can weld metal. Yeah, these welding machines are very low amperage. No, very low voltage, but high amperage, right? Hey, what do you want? No, you should start a company of installing the DIY Powerwall systems into homes. Yeah, no, I'm old. You guys got to remember, like at this point, I'm not just like looking to make a living. Now, I'm trying to make a living having fun. That's okay. I'm like, that's work. That's too much work. No, I got to get employees for that. No, that's too much liability. Nah. I want to make money having fun. That sounds like real work. I want none of that. So, yeah, no, definitely someone needs to start that, right? Someone that's hungrier than me and's got more stamina, is younger, and, they got more hustle in them. That's what needs to do that. Yeah, I'm like looking for that magical job where it's low stress, short hours, and it's more fun. And I can do it from wherever, whenever. And I don't have a boss. When I don't find that, I'm going to be good. How well do lithium iron phosphate do in extreme temperatures? 10F to 100F in comparison to 18650s. I think they do better. Lithium iron phosphate is more stable and does better in temperatures, but low temperatures kill batteries. I mean, yeah, when you're recharging them and stuff, right? So they don't do particularly well, but I think they do better than those, right? And so, oh boy, come on. So yeah, you gotta keep them, happy. You gotta keep them in room temperature. Hey, what? Stop it. Jeez, this guy is crazy. Does your solar panels have solar tracking? No, my solar panels are facing the wrong way. Yeah, they don't track anything. They're just there facing the wrong way. Or open your own garage and turn electrified cars into new cars. So I do kind of have to do that now. So for those of you who don't know, my crazy idea is to build a fleet of vans that I can rent out, right? And they're a very particular vehicle, but I'm going to start with that vehicle. I like VW buses, and like me, there are other people that like VW buses and would probably rent them, right? And electric VW buses, but eventually I want to break out and, start converting other types of cars. I do enjoy the process of converting a car and designing battery packs and designing mechanical things and electrical systems and stuff, right? I just never want to do it for someone else. I definitely don't want to do it for clients. I don't, because then that adds pressure. Like I said, I'm looking for that magical job where it's more fun than anything else, right? And so I don't want to do it, for customers. But I would want to do it for me, right? And so if I own the car, I can do it on my own time, on my own schedule. And then I can just like rent it and stuff, right? Once it's done and I can own those cars and I can recuperate the investment of that car. And that's the idea. I don't know if it's actually going to work. It might be more trouble than it's worth. But if it doesn't work, then I just have a bunch of electrified cars that I can get rid of and sell or whatever, right? But if I don't have to sell them and I can keep them, then that's the thing. So I will have to, again, get a shop. I used to have one, a few years ago, about 2-3 years ago. I had to give it up because it wasn't making money, and it was a lot of money, right? Like, I mean, it's like here in California, it's like 80-90 cents a square foot, so I had 2,000 square feet. Yeah, it was, $2,000 every month that was just going to that thing, and I, for about a year I had it in the hopes that I would figure out some way to make it, make money for me, but it wasn't. So that was, $25,000 on the drain through that 1 year that I could have used for something else, but I didn't just because I had that shop. So now I think I'm getting to a position where like now it makes sense to once again get it because I want to work on these cars, right? And I want to work on all these other vehicles just for the video. Like I have this crazy idea that I want to make a car, and if I were to do it, it would probably take me like 5 weeks or something to build this. And it might have much money, probably like under $20,000. But I think that video would go viral and it would get millions of views, which would generate enough, income to pay for itself, right? And so I'm like, yeah, I should do this. But also, those opportunities and those ideas come sometimes, and there's only like a window of time that you can do that, and you can ride that wave of hype and all the stuff of whatever's going on in the world, right? And so if you're not prepared to like get busy and do the thing, then you lose your opportunity to do that, right? So if I have a shop, then I can kind of embark in those projects, right? Right now I kind of can't. I'm like, because I can only work what I have here. I want to buy a trailer so that I can tow cars, right? And I'm like, where am I going to put it? I don't have a place to put it right now. So no, I can't get that stuff. I need to get a place first. And so that's where I'm at right now. Is buying Tesla batteries from wrecked Tesla cars a viable option for home battery backup? Yes, it is. Yeah, you can buy the modules. You can buy a whole Tesla. If you can find a Tesla for, 10... Man, if you can buy a Tesla for $15,000, then you're good, because the battery's worth 10 and the motor is worth like 5, right? And then if you can recoup any other body parts from it, you can put them on eBay and sell them, right? You don't need the motor. You can put it up and you can get, probably not 5,000. You're probably getting less than that, because you don't know the state of it, or, whatever. But if you just want to move it and put it up there so it sells quickly. So yeah, you could potentially get, big battery. I mean, 85 kilowatt hours, 75 to 85 kilowatt hours, for about 10 grand. That's crazy low. I mean, or a battery that doesn't require a lot of work. Like those modules, you can screw those or rack them up and then connect a couple of in series. That's 48 volts. And not a lot of work. And now, especially now, there's a lot of people that are giving or offering, kits or some hardware so that you can, use the BMS that is included there, or put an external BMS and then, like manage them and stuff. So it's becoming, it's actually a viable thing to do, to use a Tesla modules to for storage. Definitely is. Let's see here. What are my parents? My parents are making noise over there. Thanks for the stream, J.O. You're a good teacher and influencer later. Okay, thank you for that. I've heard of desperate Russian medics who were out of anesthetic drugs, still needing to do field surgery and using electricity in the right places to block feeling. It worked. Wow, that's crazy. Woo. How old are you, Jehu? I'm too old. I'm like 42, I think. I think I just turned 42. Or, oh my God, I might be turning 43 in January. Oh, that's kind of depressing. At this age, it isn't money, it's legacy. Are Tesla models good for solar? Modules? Yeah, you can use it. They're batteries. Solar doesn't care. And they don't care where you get the power from. It's just a battery. How soon would solid-state batteries come to the market, do you think? I don't know. It's hard for me to say, because they've been, around the corner for so long. So, it's like, come on. It's been years since we've been hearing them, and they're not here yet. I know that if they were real and they were viable, commercially viable, they would be here already. Because batteries are a huge multi-billion-dollar industry across the world, and it's exploding right now. I mean, it's crazy. It's exploding right now. The growth and the battery market is exponential, right? And so any new technology that it's ready or near ready, you would start seeing that thing immediately, and there would be billions of dollars investment in getting it out to market, right? And so because it hasn't happened, I'm thinking that it's just not ready. They still have obstacles to go through, and big obstacles, right? So, it might work. It might have some level of success. Hey, what are you doing? I might have some levels of success in the lab, but I think in real world it just doesn't work yet. And I don't know when it's gonna start working. Did you feed the dogs? Yeah, maybe. So my dad, we went on vacation this year, and then I let my dad. I asked him if he could feed the dogs, and he's like, yes, and he took it very serious, And once I came back, he's like, it's his job. Like, I can't take that job back from him because he's like, no, this is my job. This is what I do, So he feeds them. But, my dad he's up there in age, and maybe he forgets sometimes. I don't know, because sometimes the dogs are going crazy like this guy. Hey, what are you doing? What are you looking for? And I'm like, maybe I gotta go and ask him, I guess. And most of the time he tells me yes, but I'm like, why are these dogs so hungry all the time? Maybe it's not the best thing that I let him. What? What did you want? What do you want? You want my phone? Water? What's up there? I don't know. This guy's crazy. Listen. You gotta behave. Boy. Go play over there with Bruce. Go play with Bruce, man. Okay, you wanna come up here? All right. He wants to show his face into the camera. He must smell something over there. What do you smell over there? No. So the bread over here has raisins, and I don't want to give them that because they can't eat raisins, right? They can't eat grapes and stuff. They can't digest them or something. So I'm like, nope, I can't give you that bread. No. Yeah, attack them, Bruce. Electric RVs, yes. Yeah, it could happen. It just would be really expensive because it would require a big battery. He's worried about you talking to yourself. Yeah, I don't think my family gets that there's people on the other side of this camera. Sometimes I think they think I'm crazy. Which chemistry of lithium batteries would you recommend for 100 amp pulling 3 kilowatt bed covers motor on an electric motorcycle that can last at least 5 years? 100 amp pulling, yeah, so lithium cobalt oxide, definitely, like 18650s, something with energy dense, this kind of energy density, right? These are like 3.4 amp hour cells, right? So almost 12 watt hours each cell. So, this is, what is this? This is 150. Let's do the math here. 3.6 times 3.4. Yeah, 12.2, right? Times 150. Yeah, so this is 1.8. So, yeah, very close to 2 kilowatt hours here. All right, so remember that other lithium iron phosphate, right? That was 1.2 kilowatt hours. This is 1.8 kilowatt hours, right? And it's about the same size. And probably this is less volume and less weight than that one right there. So yeah, you definitely do want this instead of lithium iron phosphate. Now, of course, this doesn't last as long as the other ones. They're not safe. They're a little bit more, they're safe enough. It's just those ones you can abuse them way more, and usually they won't blow up on you or whatever. So, all right, let's see. Are you going to do more videos with the Samsung ESS battery system, looking at what BMS and maybe hybrid solar charger looking for recommendations? Yes, I do have planned one this month where I will touch on all the BMSs that you can use, including the new one. Although I'm hesitant to push this thing because it's hard to get, right? I mean, you have to get in a list, you have to pre-order it, and then this guy has to make it and stuff. But out of all these BMS, all of these DIY, systems, this is by far some of the most elegant equipment that I've seen. This guy puts the instructions, wiring diagrams, the whole thing in this little screen in there, and there's these little taptic buttons in here. Like this is where all this equipment needs to go, right? And this is not made in China. This is a guy in Canada. He's very smart. This guy, one guy's made this and he's, done it right. He's spent a lot of time designing it. It's a cool thing. It's not like super universal. You gotta like use certain panels one way, and at least with the original one. I think with that one it's just a BMS. So I think this one, it's kind of more universal. You can use any battery, lithium chemistry, and anything up to like 8S. You can use them, and it'll balance, and it'll log, and all kinds of stuff, all kinds of good stuff, right? So I'm probably going to touch on that just in case that you can want to wait and get your hands on. It took quite a bit of time. I think I ordered that 4 or 5 months ago or something like that, and finally we got some. People are starting to get them or something. So they're not super easy to get, unfortunately. John, how much would you pay for pre-made PCB? Make a fiberglass mold of the BW split and space frame chassis to make your BW fleet of electric buses. I don't know. That seems like too much work. I can just buy ones that are, old, and I don't know. I don't know how many of them I'm going to do myself. I've kind of spent like 4 weeks working on this one, and it's been really fun. I needed a break from all this battery stuff, right? And I'm like, I'm going to go in the garage and bang away and, weld and, do dirty work, right? Like I was all dirty every day and, grinding and stuff. And I didn't think about I didn't shoot any of it, right? I didn't shoot video. I was like, no, I'm just going to do this thing, And it's pretty good, but I don't know how long I can do that. Like I said, I have trouble sticking to one thing and doing that same thing over and over and over again. I have to like back and forth do different things, right? So if I plan to build several of these buses, I don't know how many of them I'm going to do myself, but the first one is here, and it's almost done. It's 100% now. All it needs now is body and paint. So it's basically where my bus is at, where it's been for the past 10 years or 7 years. So figure I jump into my bus, do that one first, and then back into this one, take it apart, do the body work, or send it to the body to be worked somewhere else, and that one doesn't have to be perfect, because that one, it's like, that one's for rental, right? The metal doesn't have to be perfect. That one we could, put more filler on it, use, doors that are a little bit, doors that are not completely perfectly straight. I can bang it out and with the hammer and try to get them as straight as I can, and then the rest of the filler will take care of it. Because they're going to get banged up, right? If people that rent cars are usually not, super careful with them. So, it doesn't have to be perfect. That one's at a much lower level of, of detail, right? Than mine. I mean, mine is mine, and I've done a lot of work, and I want it perfect, right? But the other ones are not. So, I don't know. I think I prefer using real buses, and then, oh, by the way, I just talked to a guy that makes all the panels. His name is Gerson, and he has a website, Classic Fab, and for the most part, for the past decade, he's been making most of these body panels for the buses, right? And they're green, and almost any bus that is restored these days have green panels. They have green Gerson, Classic Fab panels, and so he's interested in making a complete bus, like in a box. It comes with all the parts. All you get this box, you take it apart, and then you weld it together, but it's completed, like every part that you need. And he says that he's working the last two parts, and he's adjusting the molds right now. And he wants to do that for SEMA. He wants to show up and start with the box, and there's going to be some pre-assembling, but essentially it's going to be like parts, and then at the show they're going to weld them together, and then they want to drive off. SEMA's 4 days, so basically in the span of 4 days we want to do all that. And I'm going to help him with the powertrain, because he wants it to be electric. It's not only does he want it to be like this thing, but he also wants it to, you know, this be futuristic thing, you know? And so we're gonna do that. So definitely, I think I'm gonna be at SEMA in some form or shape, right? Either if I take my bus, if it's done, you know, and show it in someone's booth or something, or if that doesn't pan out, at least I'm gonna be there to help him with that, and maybe I'll work on it and bolt on the motor and troubleshoot it and then get it working or whatever. But that's in the plans. That's also another way that I can build some of these fleets, right? And by the way, he says that he can offer this bus for like about $20,000. And I don't know if you guys saw that video I uploaded. Probably not a lot of you guys saw it, but the really early buses are really expensive. Anything like 50s, you know, anything like pre-55, super rare, because they only made a handful of them, you know. And those are the ones that he's making. Now, that's cool because they're super rare and super collectible, right? But these are not going to be original, so they're none of that. They're not as practical as the newer ones, so that's the only problem. But I'm going to be able to order them and for like 20 grand and get these things and then, you know, weld them together. And then you have a brand new bus that is like basically a replica of like a 1955, you know, Samba, essentially. So I'll probably do one of those, you know. Samsung ESS already have working BMS. They do, if you can get it to work, if you can connect it to their system and figure it out, they do so. Is this possible future Samsung graphite battery for a car? I don't know. Let's see. Dogs are always hungry and begging, even when they're not. Yes. What? I think they're bored a lot of the times. I worry about my dogs that I'm not giving them the best life that I can, because I'm just kind of here working and stuff, and there's 3 of them, so I can't handle. I used to take them to the park more often and walking, but now there's 3 of them, and that's too much. I can't handle 3 of them. That little one, he's crazy. A flooded cell would need to be tested. Theoretically, it's waterproof, but it was shorted out. Then the voltage went below the low spec. EMP? A cool project would make a cargo tandem bike, only electric, with something like 15 kilowatt hours to see the range. Why is that pack 15S and not 14S? Oh, this one in particular here is because our early Tesla packs were 15S. And we found out that our systems, our HPVS systems, which were the only ones that were available years ago, and that's what's on my bus right now, works perfect at 30S, right? So that's the highest voltage that you can go on our system. It's 130 volts. After that, it shuts down. So fully charged, 30S fully charged all the way to the top, it's about 126 volts. If you add another cell, 31S, then it goes beyond that, right, above. Right. So 30S works, and so because I might tie this in to the to that system, right? Because I have it, I own it, so I might as well use it. Then that's why I'm making this 15S, because then 2 of them would be 30S and it would work with that system perfectly. And I could even tie it into, you know, I can supplement with the Tesla packs because they're all 15S. Hey, stop it. Oh, what do you think about lithium titanate from Toshiba. I don't know. I don't really know much about the new chemistries. I just, I just don't really geek out too much on the new technologies because I like to see them here on my hands. So I don't. Yeah, I like the stuff that we have right now. I get excited about that. I get excited. Tesla modules, it's like we're gonna see a bunch of those soon, and the price is gonna go down because now there's a direct connection to Tesla from, people like us and Tom and stuff, right? And so he's gonna be able to get those really cheap, and so then he's gonna be offering them really cheap, right? And so that's exciting for me because now we have these large battery modules that are tested, that enough people are working on to figure things out. The pin outs of all these things have been figured out. There's people making products from. Now all of a sudden they're gonna go from $1,200 per module to, I don't know, $800 per module or something. I don't know what it's gonna end up costing or what he's gonna price them at, but I know that there's plenty of room to substantially lower the cost and still make money on them. So I'm excited about that, right? That's the stuff that excites me, not like these other things that are coming out from whoever or whatever. I'll get excited when I see them and we can get them and we can buy them cheap. I'm supposed to work on my cars and I got distracted here. Gotta get started. Up all night. Have a good night. There you go. Thank you for joining us. I love solar panels, but they have such obnoxious proportions. I wish I could find them shaped like long planks so I could build a trellis overhead with them and make a shade garden below. Yeah, you sound like you could use those. Let me close this door. This is distracting me. I was talking really loud. All right, that's better. Yeah, it sounds like you're looking for those roll-up ones that I have on the roof. They're flexible, and they're super long. They're about a foot wide and I don't know, like 12 foot long or something like that. How many 18650s can I stack on one of your 7S boards? How many 18650s can I stack on one of your 7S boards? I don't know. Does that make sense? I mean, it's a 7S board. What are you doing? Why do you want to get something from here? I don't get it. There's nothing here for you. It's just a camera. No. Go over there. Lithium Titanite have up to 20,000 cycles, so similar voltage to life before. There you go. Yeah, I mean that's exciting. That's interesting, but I don't know if we need 20,000 cycles to tell you the truth, right? Because 8,000 cycles are translating into 1,000,000 miles on the new Tesla packs, right? So, do you need 10 million miles on a battery? I mean, it would be nice, right? If you can get it, without paying extra, sure. But yeah, I think it's not needed. I mean, if there's any compromise that you have to make to get that, I don't think it's worth it. I think 8,000 cycles, 5,000 cycles on our batteries is good enough. I know lead acid have revived a lot of them. Samsung ESS BMS only needs network for data collection and inter-rack balance. I have found the cell balance working through 5 charge-discharge cycles. Really? Huh. I'm going to put that to the test, Anthony. Wait, so if that is true... Wait, yeah, so, I mean, there's one easy way to test that. I can just actively unbalance it right? And then connect them together, and then, you know, see if that battery balances itself out, right? I mean, if they're actively doing it and I'm cycling back and forth, then they yeah. I guess that's how you found out, right, Anthony? Is that how you found out? 5 cycles? If that's true, then that's awesome, because that means then I have to put that in my video, because then that would be obviously the easiest way to to get them to work is just don't change it. I mean, it makes sense that they would do it like that, but of course not being well versed in that system and not having the ability to test it. I was kind of relying on the other people that were doing it, and they were one way and another way, and then at the end they kind of gave up, and so I have nowhere to go from that. I'm not allowed to post links here. Google plank-shaped solar panel. It will come up. He's after some Jehu. Never overfill lead acid. Did you catch the DC Solar bankruptcy auction? They sold over 700 solar trailers today. No! Where was that at? 700 solar trailers? What kind of... Oh, wait a minute. The DC Solar. I remember seeing those. They were the ones that were had lights, right? They had parking lights and event lighting, but with solar panels and a bank of batteries, right? It was all lead acid and stuff, I think. I didn't see that. Lithium-ion versus lead acid battery, which one is better for inverter? I mean, they're both good, but lead acid is bigger, it's heavier, and it won't last as long. So at the end, it's more expensive than lithium. Lithium is more expensive up front. It's a little bit more finicky if you mistreat it, if you overcharge it or over discharge it, then you kill it really easily. What else? It requires some active balancing sometimes. It doesn't, not really, I mean, not always. But because things can go south so quickly, it's more like a safety feature that you need to have some active balancing circuitry in there to try to prevent some mishap. So, yeah, I mean, there are differences. But yeah, I think lithium is a much superior battery system than lead acid, right? Unless you're getting lead acid for free, then yeah, I don't. Or you need to have a battery just backup and it's never going to cycle. It's just going to be fully charged all the time. Then lead acid is probably better than lithium. Lithium actually degrades when it's kept fully charged all the time, right? So lead acid, I think, works better in that. The balance only works during charge and discharge cycles. So it's like a typical BMS. Okay, I'm gonna test that. I'm gonna put it to the test. Make a video about that. There you go. That's the next video that I'll make. Yeah, I can make that. The thing about those videos is that take a long time to make because you gotta cycle stuff, right? So that means you gotta work on it. You do the thing. You have to set up the camera, and then you do the experiment. And since these things are huge batteries, 3 kilowatt hours each, then it takes quite a bit of time to charge it and discharge it. So, yeah, okay. I'll put that to the test. Good idea, Anthony. I will have network board for ESS soon. There you go. So the actual hardware that they use to network those, is that what you're saying? Lead-acid batteries recycle better than any other type of battery I know about. Too bad recycling them is such a nasty, no fun process at home. Yeah, I think almost every single bit of lead-acid batteries is recyclable, right? And it's reusable. I mean, they use all that lead to make new batteries. Oh, and a bunch of other stuff. Lead is used in all kinds of stuff. If you active discharge a cell, then charge the charge, it says fifth cell will come into balance. Yeah, okay. I'll do that. In fact, I already did that just to test some those little balancers. And they took forever. But they eventually did, you know, uh, balance the pack, right? And this is a thing that you can buy. It's $30 and then you can connect on that little board. There's essentially don't have to like modify anything. It just fits on that connector. But obviously the best thing is to use the stuff that is built into those modules. And I gotta try that. I'm excited to try that. Downside of the ESS BMS is that there is no over/under voltage protection without the network. So the base, it won't. It's just a balancer essentially, right? It's like it doesn't have any switching on the actual module, so you would have to do that outside by using some type of a contactor or a relay, a big relay or something like that. What is the most ideal capacity range of an 18650 cells? For example, 30% to 80%. Yeah, I think 80%, right, of the total capacity. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, if you leave like 10 to 20% on the edges, so probably like 3 volts to like 4 volts. If you do that, I think that's where Tesla use their battery cells. Then you'll get the most, you'll get the most life while using the most capacity. Anything about that, then it starts accelerating the degradation, I think. Can fix sulfated lead acid, but internal shorts are bad and cannot be fixed easily. Wow. That's crazy. All right, so 9:18. Oh my God, there's so many of you watching. What happened? Last time that I was here, we didn't have this many of you guys watching. Let's see on the thing here. The streaming. I'm gonna see the analytics for this thing. I didn't go early this time. Yeah, that's so crazy. There's so many of you guys watching. What are you guys doing? Where were you guys last week? I think last week we only had like 250. Oh, let me see if I can share this. So here's my crazy idea, okay? You guys tell me if this sounds like a good idea or not. I obviously... So the way I make money is by creating projects, right, using batteries, and then showing you guys how to do this. And then once I show you, like, okay, this is the problem, this is how you fix it, and this is the things that you need to fix it. And then, and then usually some of those is like batteries and, all the star boxes and cables and lugs and you name it, screws, everything. And usually, what helps you guys to recreate the thing that I did or whatever is to give you links so that you guys can go and buy all the parts to make the things. So I try to make money as commissions on all those links. I've set up a commission thing on Amazon or eBay and all that stuff, right? And I usually, use those links and those are very useful for you guys because, you guys want to know how to make this stuff, right? You guys are watching me and you guys are interested in building a thing. And then you guys click on those links and then go and buy the box and the batteries and thing. And then I make a little bit of commissions there. Well, some of these projects that I've done, they've been very, very successful. I mean, like I'll make a thing, a battery, and then I'll present it. And if I do a good job presenting it and make it easy, and give, detailed instructions how to do it, then the most I can convince the most, of you to actually give it a try. And they've been very successful. I mean, I've seen commissions coming in, right? And it's like, oh my God, there's a lot of batteries that sold. There's a lot of boxes. There's a lot of inverters or whatever. And so that's how I make money, right? But obviously, not all of it. It doesn't work all the time, Sometimes I make a project and it takes me a long time to design, and it takes me a long time to get the thing and to fix some battery. Like this batteries that are, the fireproof ones, I kind of scratch my head trying the best way to figure out how to use them. And at the very end, I'm like, there's no really easy way. There's no thing, And then I'll put up a video and it doesn't do necessarily well. And so I'm like, okay, well, that didn't pan out. I just spent a bunch of time doing that thing and it didn't work out. But the other thing that's happening with me is that sometimes, you know, my partners, you know, it's like, it's hard to really put a value to what I do. It's like every time I make a video and it's successful, there's a huge amount of traffic that comes in and there's a huge amount of sales. And they love it. They love that, right? They're like, oh my God, you know, we sold a bunch of things. Here's your cut, you know, here's your commissions. And they're happy. But then as time goes by, then, you know, they become known, right? And so all of you guys know who they are and where their websites are and stuff. And so then, like, these guys, they believe that they don't need me anymore. They're just like, hey, we don't need you to keep promoting us. You know, people already know who we are. So goodbye. We're not going to give you, you know, commissions for selling batteries anymore. So then, you know, every single battery, well, not every single one, but like probably half of the battery partners that I've had in this past few years, they start like that, right? They're like really happy when we start and we make the projects and the thing and send them a bunch of sales. They give me commissions, they're happy. But as time goes by, they're like, yeah, we don't need you. We don't want to keep giving you money for promoting us. You know, you promoted us, well, you made us famous now. We don't need to keep paying you. And so as a result of that, it's always changing. And so I'm like, I gotta find a different way. I keep promoting these websites. You know, a year ago, nobody knew what batteryhookup.com was. It didn't even exist. Now, everybody knows it, and everybody just goes straight through there, right? And you guys know it because you guys saw a video or a project or a thing, or you guys were in the group or whatever, you know? But except nobody uses my link, and these guys are trying to force me to use some stupid link with like a million numbers at the end of it, right? Nobody uses it. Everybody goes straight to batteryhookups.com. And so I'm like, I gotta figure out how to not really depend on these guys wanting to pay me commissions, right? Like the eBay and the Amazon ones is no big deal because it's not a guy. It's not a guy that feels happy one morning. It's not that doesn't feel happy the next day, or feels like it's sending me too big of checks on 1 month or something, right? And so then those are more secure. You know, those are there. But these other, you know, like these other guys that I'm dealing on the side and on a personal thing, then they're not so reliable, or they haven't been. And so I'm trying to figure out different things to do. And one of those things is obviously to make videos that get a lot of views. Like that has always worked, right? If I can make a video go viral, then there's many ways that I can monetize that and, you know, get monetize that time and all the effort or whatever, you know? And so I'm, you know, like this Cybertruck, I don't know how many of you guys liked it or disliked it or not, but everybody's talking about it. And so there's a huge amount of hype in this truck. And like I said at the beginning, I kind of hate it. And I hate it because I think it's a bad choice for Elon to do it. But I think everybody's going to like it. I think it's going to be a fine, you know, they're making their cars that are cool. This is just a kind of thing on the side. But I'm like, I need to kind of capitalize on the hype that the Cybertruck is. And I want to make one of these other cars. The way I want to do that is by making, you know, like my very own cyber car. It's electric and it's following the same aesthetic that the Cybertruck has, right? And here's a render that I found. I found this one guy that makes this, and look at this. I don't know if I can show it there. I don't know. Can you guys see that? Okay, so that's like kind of like a race car, and it has the styling. Oh my god. I don't know. That's so here is another one. I mean, that's another thing, right? Oh no, come on. Where are you? So I want to build that. I want to like set like a pan, either like, because nowadays you can get like a Model S that is crashed or something, you know, and just strip it all down and just put the battery and the motor, strip everything else down, and then you can build this thing out of stainless steel on the front. And I think if I were to do that, I can get that done like, you know, in 5 weeks. I could probably build that and get it in there and, you know, make it work and, you know, just hack the motor so that it runs like without the self-driving, any of that stuff. It's just like a thing with a pedal. You step on it and it just goes, right? And I think if I were to make that video, it would go totally viral. And it would pay for all the expense of the materials to make that and all the time that I would spend doing that, right? And that would be a way that I can, you know, kind of generate some income without having to rely on these battery guys that, you know, that are kind of unreliable when it comes to giving me commissions for sending them sales, right? So what do you guys think about that? I think I'm gonna give that a try. You should do a Cyber El Camino. I like the Cybertruck too, but it's too big and you'll get the same Hummer issues people had in the 90s. Yeah, but what if you were to get a mini version of that? A Cybertruck mini. How about that? Huh? That could work. Do I have the thing here? Let's see. Oh yeah, I was just checking the thing. Make a Patreon with the detailed instructions on how to do it. You make the video and show people how it works, but you encourage donations and get paid for the instructions. Yeah, that's another way to do it. I've been thinking about doing that. Like, I wanted to make this next project and do it instructable, right? Like, so it's a written, not just a videos, you know, form, but also an instructable written form. I mean, I have to write like kind of like a script for all these videos when they get really detailed and stuff. So might as well just publish that with pictures and stuff. And I kind of already did that on my website. If you go in there, I had someone kind of transcribe one of my videos that I did on those Samsung ESS and then put it in there, right? It's not perfect, you know, but it gets the point across. Oh, God, this guy's... and so I think I'm gonna start doing that. That's a good idea. Yeah, the Cybertruck's so ugly. I hated it. So yeah, I'm going to build one. I'm gonna ride that hype. Well, here's the thing. It looks terrible as a truck, but as a little like race car sedan, I mean, it almost looks like a Lambo and stuff. And yes, Lambos only like jerks, not jerks, okay. Typically douchebags like Lambos, right? They're a little douchey, right? So, but like I said, we're all gonna be driving cars like that anyways. Look, the first time, okay, I'm gonna give it to the first time I saw a Mustang, like a 64 Mustang, I thought it was horrendous. I was a kid, and I was like, what in the world is this stupid car? My neighbor had one, and it was old, it was rusty or whatever, you know, this is in the 80s or whatever. And I was like, what in the world is this hideous thing? Like, get rid of this stupid thing. It's old, it's crappy, you know. I didn't know, and he used to like cherish it because it was a classic Mustang, you know. And I thought it was the stupidest thing. Now I like Mustangs. I want to buy one and I want to turn it into electric. I want, you know, that's pretty cool car. The same thing when I saw the Cobras. Cobras, I thought they were hideous. They're like this thing. They look like, they don't know, like a car. What is that thing? The Porsches, the 911s, the 912s. I thought they weren't very good looking the first time I saw them. Now, having working with them and seeing them at the shop every time, like for months and months, you're like, yeah, they're really cool cars, you know. So they grew on you, and all of a sudden you like them, you know. Something that you thought was stupid, then eventually you like it. Same thing gonna be with these trucks. It's hideous. It is. No denying that. But, you know, give it 5 years, we're all going to be driving something that looks like that. If Tesla, if it's successful enough, and if enough people like it, I totally see them doing like a whole line where like they Cyberfy the Model X and Cyberfy the Model 3. And so they have this little versions of that stuff, right? So I can make that now, be like, this is what the Model 3 would look like if Tesla decided to Cyberfy it. Boom, I built it. The last 5 weeks, I got together with me and my friends, and we went at it and built this thing out of stainless steel. We welded, we did this thing, right? I mean, like, yeah, it would make an interesting video, and it would get a lot of views, you know, sort of like what that girl did with the trucklet, right? And so I'm thinking that 5 years, maybe 3. I don't know. I think, James, I think not 20. I think it's gonna happen faster than you think. I think it's gonna happen faster. I hate to say it, but I think we are so gullible. We basically are asking for people to tell us what to like, right? And if Elon has enough, you know, power behind them that he's a trendsetter, you know, and if he makes it, enough people are gonna like it, and if enough people like it, chances are you're gonna like. Look, like, the reason I wear pants is not because I think they're the greatest thing. I mean, they are pretty cool, but it's mainly because everybody around me wears pants, right? Or shorts. Why don't I wear skirts, right? Because men don't wear skirts in this part of the world. Maybe if I was in Ireland, I would wear a skirt, right? I mean, we're really, yeah, we're really, yeah. We do things just because everyone else does them around. As much as we hate to admit that, it is who we are. Like, that's what happens. So everybody's driving around Tesla's Cybertrucks in 5 years. Yeah, we're gonna be driving. I mean, there's some people are just always gonna hate them, right? But I think most of us are gonna do the thing. So that's my idea, anyways. I think that's cooking in my brain, and I think I'm gonna do it. I want to build this thing. Oh, by the way, did you guys see Colin Firth, that guy, that YouTuber, and he built that vehicle? What is that vehicle from Star Wars? Is that little thing that floats or whatever? And you know, he could have made it out of like plastic or foam or some stupid thing, but he went crazy, and it took him like 5 weeks, and he built it out of like metal. You know, he shaped it. He bought these machines to shape and shrink metal and stuff, and he cut it and he welded, and then he painted it, and like, it's a legit project, right? It seems like it was him and some other guy, maybe in the back, maybe it was more like a team of people. Who knows? This guy's a big YouTuber with millions of subscribers, so he's got way more resources at his disposal. But he got it done. So something like that, right? And it's getting millions and millions of views. Because he's riding the wave of, you know, Star Wars and stuff. So that's my idea. I don't know if it's too crazy, but I think I might just go for it. You should make an electric go-kart someday. Yes, and that day might actually be here pretty soon. And the reason I say that is because we have some batteries that I'm going to have to push. Where are they? Okay, these. I show these, I don't know, I might have shown these last week or something. These are e-bike batteries, but these are pretty like cool high performance battery, 48 volts. I think these are 13S, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6P 13S. And these are Samsung 20Rs. So they're not the 25Rs, but the version before. They're brand new. There's a ton of them, like a warehouse full of these. And so I'm gonna have to build a project so that we can use these, right? And so I'm thinking 2 of these in series, like a 96 volt go-kart. Should be pretty fun. So that's coming up. I gotta build that. I've been looking on AliExpress on buying like a go-kart, like frame and stuff, and yeah, that's coming. Aston Martin Bulldog is the grandfather of the Cybertruck. More like a Mad Max truck. Oh yeah, let me post that link so you guys can click on it. Like, I know it didn't look like anything on my bus. I mean, on my phone. Oh, there we go. There we go. Let me see. No. Yeah, if you want to see that car, that's what I want to build. Right? But, like, think about it like Model 3 size, right? Not truck. It's, like, low to the ground. It looks like a race car. It's got, like, things. It's got those... Does the Tesla truck have those hips like that? The flares? I don't know if they do, but I'm like, that thing looks pretty awesome. I might just contact this guy and have him work with me, you know, to give me like more renders. I mean, everything's there though. Like that's it. Like that's the car. I think he changed it a little bit. He just made it flatter, so it's like lower and it's low. And he put those wheels. Yeah, I mean, look at that thing. That looks pretty legit. The truck looks hideous, but that thing looks pretty legit if it's like a car. Samsung 20Rs are good high-performance cells. Yes. So that's a pack that is brand new. What's 13 times 6? There's a lot of cells in there. And there's a ton of these available. And I think Michael's going to sell them kind of cheap. I think it's like, he said like $250, I think, for 2 of those. So, I mean, that's really cheap. Like a high-performance e-bike pack like that for... I think that's pretty cheap, right? It's not for sale yet. He decided to wait a little bit on those. So that's why I haven't made a video, and that's why I haven't made the build yet. 78 of those cells. 20R, Samsung 20Rs. Brand new, never been used. They basically built those, and I think the company went belly up or something, so they didn't use. The first is strong with that one. The lower set, the Go car is, the safer it is. Don't want anyone getting hurt. Yeah. Colin likes to weld. He simply must do it that way. Oh, that's right. He did say that he wanted to upgrade the motor because apparently it wasn't that compelling. He just got some cheap motor. So, you know what? I mean, that's a long shot. I totally would fly out there and, you know, collaborate with that dude. I mean, he's got millions of subscribers, you know. It's kind of, I'm terrible at making connections like that with the big YouTubers. I like simplicity. Cybertruck looks like a simple car which does its job. I mean, I like the fact that it's all straight panel. I can build that thing. I can build that thing in a couple of weeks. Like, you know, like tube chassis and then put those panels. I could totally do that. Like, flat panels, super easy to work with. Pendiente de tu información. Give someone a job, have them build it. Yeah, that's true. I can go in there and do like, this is what we're doing, and then, you know, as soon as the camera's off, you're like, get to it. Looks like a Hot Wheels that didn't have a paint job. Yeah. It does. I got enough supercells to make a 20S2P, and it should have dual 5 kilowatt 84 volt controllers. Hopefully I will get all-wheel drive at some point. There you go. It looks like a great car for grain bin sales. I have 2 4-piece cells wired already, and want to wire them in series with the BMS I got for them. Do I need to wire each 1860 battery together? Well, I mean, all the parallel cells, right? It's like one cell, so yeah, not every single cell, but all the parallel groups. Yeah, just the one wire that wires them in parallel. Hey, Jehu, is there a way you can just hook a regular hobby type balance connector into your boards and use a hobby grade charger. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the spacing on my boards for the balance connector, it's the same spacing, so you could, solder just a regular. I think it's called a JST connector, and yeah, you can totally use a just a hobby lithium charger. I think that can handle 7S, right? You should be able to balance charge a pack like that. Yeah. The CT's nose could be lower and more pointed so it can scoop up pedestrians instead of smashing them, while also lowering air resistance. Just one question. What would be said if I connected the battery pack for an e-bike with aluminum? It is easier even if you need more material, better to achieve and edit. Thanks for answer. They're handy. Wait, so what? Connected the battery pack for an e-bike with aluminum? Yeah, you can use aluminum. It's just, yeah, you can use aluminum. In fact, some batteries use aluminum. There's a lot of batteries that use aluminum interconnects, like solid bars to interconnect and stuff. It can be done. Maybe Tesla wants to put a trend into straight angle cars. Well, yes, they do. Torque boards. Torque boards is launching a new VESC 6 that supports 13S. It is coming in about a month. They just sent test units out to forum users. I'm super excited. Oh, really? Sounds like a great thing that I need to try with this thing. Well, yeah, I guess I'm going to start looking into that. You haven't understood that the Cybertruck is a space frame design with no traditional frame. Super hard cold rolled steel is no joke to bend and work with. You can't easily make something like that. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't want to make the thing that he made. I want to make a thing that looks like the thing that he made. We don't care. Most of us, we don't care what the car is and what it does and how it's made. Like, I care less. We buy cars. A lot of us buy cars because of the way they look. I'm a prime example of that. I drive the world's unsafest car. My bus has absolutely no crumple zone. It's got literally a 20 gauge steel between you and whatever you're gonna hit. Well, and a piece of cardboard in between. Like your knees are the crumple zones, right? That's super dangerous to drive this car, right? They're also the worst cars in the world, like the most unreliable, right? They're underpowered. They're like, of course, I fix all that by making electric, right? But by making electric and fixing all the underpowered, unreliable problems, then I made it essentially more dangerous because now it goes fast, right? Of course, yeah, I kind of, I put disc brakes and stuff to try to minimize. Anyways, I don't drive the bus. I don't drive this car because it's because I have a death wish. I drive it because I like the way it looks, right? So I drive it because of its looks. And like me, there are millions and millions of people. And so I think that's the reason. I don't care. We don't care. There's a lot of us that we don't care why the truck looks the way it looks. We don't care. It's just we care that it looks the way it looks, right? And like I said, eventually we won't mind its looks. We might even appreciate its looks. But right now, it still looks like it looks ugly. It looks like something that doesn't belong in the streets. It looks like something that belongs in some video game, So yeah, my whole thing about building one of those things is not because I want to make it with, ultra cold hard roll steel or whatever it's called. The whole indestructible thing is stupid. Especially since it's not indestructible. You know, you could just take out some ball and hit the glass and then break it, you know. Thank you for answering my question. This is why I love your live streams. Give it a good rare work. Hope it catch. It would make better vehicles cheaper. Thanks for your time and all the work you do. You're doing the Lord's work. 40s is not old. Well, I mean, yeah, 40s is the new 30s, right? They say. I remember the horrible failure of aluminum wiring on those houses back in the 70s. Too much corrosion, lots of hot spots and fires. Yeah, I guess, yeah, there are considerations that need to be made. I don't know if that would work the same in lower voltages, but I don't know. I don't know enough about that to see if it's the same case or it's different. Everybody likes to bring up the galvanic corrosion issues and stuff, and yeah, I mean, I guess maybe that's an issue. I don't know enough about it to say one way or another, unfortunately. Cybertruck is cold rolled steel. Yes, it's 30 times cold rolled steel. Ultra hard, indestructible. Yes, supposedly that's what it is, and that is supposedly the reason why it looks the way it looks like that, because it's the only way to make it using that material. Basically, you can't press it into, you know, round shapes. You basically can score it and bend it. That's about it. I want a kit to weld into my rig. If you contact Dexter from DIY Electric Skateboards, aka Torque B, he would definitely send you a VESC 6 as a promotion. You have a large audience that buys lots of electronics. Just say Quinn sent you. Huh, I'll try that. Dexter. I think I bought some stuff from Dexter back in the day. There are also super cheap if you have to buy them. Only 135 each. Oh yeah, that's not that bad. Cybertruck looks awesome. There you go. See, Long likes it. Or make Cyber trailer for the Samba. Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't go with the Samba. I mean, if the Samba was cyberfied, which I also thought about that. I thought, like, I would make a cyber Samba. If I can, you know, if somehow we can, I'm not that good of a designer, so I would have to rely on someone else with more talent than me to design something, right? But if it's all straight panels, I can cyberfy. That's easy to build. Like, you know what I mean? Like, something that looks like that is easy to build. I don't care about the cold roller. Like, I'm not interested in making an indestructible car. I'm just trying to make one that looks like it, right? Aluminum is danger and should be avoided. Copper is cheap. I have a 1999 Sebring convertible. Are there any EV kits for that? I don't know. What is a 1999 Sebring? If it's not a popular car, maybe there isn't parts. See, it has to be like a popular. Yeah, I don't know. No, I don't. Yeah, I don't think people have. The thing is that traditionally converting a car to electric has been really expensive, so people would only do it to really, really cool cars, or cars that are loved and liked by many, many people, and usually many people with money, right? So I'm not saying the Sebring is not a beautiful car, you know, highly subjective, right? I'm not calling your car ugly, but I doubt that there has been people traditionally that love them enough to spend the money to make the custom parts, right? And then make them available as kits in other places. I could be wrong. There are places that have kits for like many popular cars and stuff. Maybe that one isn't there, but I doubt it. I could say. It is my bias but maybe not for that car. It would be funny if the Cybertrucks start to rust. Well, tell you what, I wouldn't want to make it out of stainless steel. Well, I mean, I guess it could. But if I just make it out of regular steel, here's the thing. Here's what people are doing. They're all like designing wraps, and paint schemes, and other stuff, right? They're trying to like change the fact that it's just stainless steel. And so I'm like, well, if people are doing that because it looks better, might as well just start with that. Like, why go to all the trouble of making it stainless steel? Maybe I should just, make it out of regular steel and then paint it or wrap it or do whatever. I don't know. Can you even samba? Cyber van. There you go. With Cyber foot on in the back. But your bus being a vintage car, it makes sense to remake it electric. You did a wonderful job preserving that thing. I love it. The Cybertruck is function before form. It is. I get that, and I totally get that. It's just, I don't think we're prepared for that. I mean, some people are. I was saying, the mass majority of us aren't prepared to accept that in our cars. Like, we buy our cars. It's a highly emotional thing. We buy them not because of their usefulness. We buy them because of the looks, because they make us feel a certain way. It's cars are weird that way. They're not. I mean, not everyone. I say there are people that buy trucks to load them up with gravel and stuff, right? And that's what trucks are supposed to. But what about all the millions of people that buy trucks and they never put a single thing in the bed ever, right? Those people didn't buy the trucks because it's a truck and you can haul, half a ton. They don't care about that. They just care what the car looks like. And I'm in that camp, right? I'm in the I need to like it. I need to like the way it looks before I can love a car, right? So, I'm not a weirdo like that. I probably want to say most people are that. I don't know. Maybe not. All right, what do I know? Let's see. I'd weld spikes all over CT if it had it because it never rusts, Jehu, and 30 times harder. Yeah. I know. So yeah, I mean, that's the reason why people are buying it. Not because typically not because it would be interesting to poll every single one of these bastards, that 250,000 people that order that, right? Like, how many of them bought it or pre-order it just to jump on the bandwagon because they drank the Kool-Aid? How many of them because they actually think it's going to be a useful thing because of the design, the thing, the harness, and then how many of them because they like the way it looks, because it's looks cool. And I wonder if there's a way to poll them. I guess I could put up a poll and then see how many of them. Most entries, more people than not that are non-pre-order are probably gonna chime in and have their say. Finally bought a K-Weld. I'm going to start a business to make battery packs locally. Battery hookup will be seeing a lot of me. There you go, Quinn. Good luck with your new business, man. There are a lot of people that ask me how much I would charge them to build them a battery pack. I'm going to send them to you. Usually I'm like, I'm sure there's someone out there that is willing to make packs, but I don't know anyone. So there we go. Quinn, do it. Get good at it so I can send people your way. A lot of people just want to buy a battery. Most people just want to buy a battery. They don't want to do all the crazy. We're crazies. We're the exception of the rule here. Jay, long-time subscriber, love your videos. I have a 2020 Zero motorcycle with a DC motor. Really? Zero motorcycles have DC motor? Around only 25 miles range. Beef up the battery and stay in the voltage of the CC, or go AC motor and new CC. Yeah, man, I said go AC, right? Go AC all the way. I mean, I don't know. I would just put like one of these, one of these bigger, like, 20, 30 kilowatt brushless motors, and then lithium battery. No, wait, the battery, the 2012 Zero had a DC motor? That's weird. Do you have a link to buy the Revolt battery 1860? Yeah, no, those are not available anymore. Those were batteries that me and a partner were bringing in from China. And we sold a lot of them. I mean, I think we sold like 40,000 cells or something in like in a month and a half or 2 months, something like that. And it was good, but except that my partner was supposed to handle all the orders, and he was just doing a terrible job. So he didn't ship a bunch of orders. He shipped wrong orders to the wrong people. He totally made a total mess of that thing, and then he disappeared, and then he just left the whole mess to me. And so I didn't make any money of that whole transaction because I just started refunding anyone that, that we didn't know where their cells were at. Just like, where's your cells? I don't know. If you could, I mean, it was like if people could, if I couldn't prove that they were delivered, they're like, here's your money. Sorry about the whole mess. My partner just did a thing. And then that kid came back, and then he was he opened up some account in my name, and then it was locked. Right? Like PayPal locked it because they were like, okay, we need some like verification, right? And he needed like my document. He was asking me for like my passport and I don't know what. And I was like, what? What do you want my passport for? Like, oh, because I need to, And I go, well, you owe me a bunch of money because I refunded everyone, and like, you took a bunch of money, you left with your earnings, and then you left me with all the problems, right? And so he wouldn't. I go, you owe me money, so I'll verify the account if you give me access to it, and then I can take that money because I'm taking my money. Like, you're gonna share the losses with me. You're not just gonna take all the earnings. And he wouldn't want to do that because he obviously owed some other people that he borrowed the money from, and this kid was just dumb. He turned out to be dumb, and so he wouldn't do it. So I'm like, I ain't gonna verify nothing. So I think there's an account. I think there's a PayPal account that is under my name that it was locked that might have a lot of money in it. I mean, I don't know. It could have up to like $40,000. And he can't get to it because he can't verify it. But he wouldn't give me access to it because then I wouldn't take all $40,000. I mean, I would take half of it. Right? If after the whole mess there's 40,000, the fair thing would be like, okay, here's my 20, there's your 20. Right? I would do that. I'm fair. But he wouldn't he wouldn't risk that, so he never gave me access. And I thought about calling PayPal and asking him, like probing into it, like, hey, there's an account in my name. I need to like verify it. Here's my info. I need to get access to that, But I just never looked into it. I should probably look into it. If you work on PayPal and you can help me figure this out, I'll give you some commission. By the way, this has worked before. I was in trouble with PayPal once before, and I kind of said that on one of my videos. And sure enough, someone that worked at PayPal, contacted me, and we figured it out. We cleared it all up, and, it was all fine and whatever. So, Rich Rebuilds made a rat rod out of an electric motorcycle. Yep. So 30 times steel has many classifications, 301, 302, 316 once. It's work hardened by rolling it once. It changes properties a lot, twice, stuff, and hard to work with. I'm going to start saving up for Cybertruck. It will probably take me several years. We need DIY robots to assemble these cells for us. Yep. Do the Tesla Model S and or Model 3 modules work for solar? Yes, the Model S ones are better. suit for that. The Model 3 ones are weird voltages, like some are like 88 volts. There is equipment out there that might work, but it's harder to find them. There's like usually typically there's no, everything is designed for lead acid voltages, which is 12, 24, 36, 48. And there are some that are popping up there that are 96, which might work with the Model 3 modules, but I haven't tried them myself, so I can't say with 100% certainty, you know. Battery modules, I helped with your last PayPal thing. Wait, I helped? That was you, Trick Show? Was that you that worked at PayPal? No way. Is there anything could be done about this one account that might still be there, might still be locked, and it might have some money in there that half of it might belong to me? What do you say? Including the email use. Wait, what is it? I helped your last PayPal thing. A better practical friendly. They probably won't give you your money in that account unless you have the account details. Yeah, so I don't have the account details. That's the problem. I have the guy's name. I have the. I mean, I could probably come up with the email. No. I could probably guess the email that he used, but that's about it. Other than that, it's under my name. He said that it was like share or something. Like it was like a shared account. I'm like, how can you even open a shared account at eBay? I don't know. Like on you, yeah, not eBay, PayPal. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have all those details for sure, right? But I obviously can prove that I am who I am. He couldn't do that, and so that's why he couldn't get that money out. And he's like, "No, I can't get the money out," you know. So I'm like, well, I'm like, look, and this is like months and months, right? It's like 6 months after the whole thing went down. The guy disappeared. He never came back, right? And he was coming back like, "Oh, I'm just trying to make things right." I'm like, well, you're trying to make things right? Like, what are you talking about? Like, no, you need my help to get your money. Like, and it's not your money. Half of it is mine. He's like, no, that's not what I want. I'm here. Like, shut up. I'm like, what do you think I was born yesterday? I'm like, no, I won't give you access. I won't help you get access to your money unless you give it to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, unless you give me half of it, you know, and he couldn't agree to that. Well, he kind of did, but I realized, you know, I called his bluff that he was just saying whatever he wanted to say to convince me. He was still trying to get me to, I'm like, I ain't giving you your thing. You're going to have to give me access. You don't have to trust me. I'm not trusting you. I already made that mistake. You know, you have to trust me. And he wouldn't do it, so I'm like, well, then you're not getting your money. They don't do share accounts. There you go. See, so the account is under my name. And so that means that that account is under my name and it belongs to me. And so I guess I should try it and get access to it. I mean, I don't see how else he could have gone around, right? Like, he tried it, and he tried it really hard, and I wouldn't budge. And then he went away. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe did he figure out another way? Maybe. I don't know. But I definitely didn't make it easy. Just tell him PayPal contacted you to verify the account, but they need you to verify the email. Oh, I see. That's how it works. Yeah, because I probably don't have access to that email, and so, yeah, I won't. If the account is not verified, the money is still in there. So there are definitely different levels of verification, right? Because we did use that account for a while. I don't know how long, and I think he was able to get some money out at one point, but then it got... I think what happened is that because he was doing such a terrible job shipping all these orders, people were putting claims, and so probably has a bunch of claims. And so maybe that's the reason why they locked it, and then they're like, no, we need something else or something. And then him not being able to further, you know, give more verification, right? Obviously, he's not me, and he didn't have any of my documents. Then he couldn't get to that process. I think maybe that's what's happening. So I don't know. But there's a chance that that account was originally, from the very beginning, was locked because a bunch of money came in. It was like in the span of like 12 hours, something like $40,000 came into that account, and he had just opened it, and then it was locked. And there's a chance that then he just never, you know, got around to unlocking that, and because he had like loan, and because we started accepting payments through some other way, then there was money flowing in, and he was like, oh, I'll figure that out later, and I'll figure that out later, and then he just put it off, and then he never did. And so now 6 months later, he's like, oh, I need to figure this out. So there's that's why I'm saying there is a chance that account has up to like $40,000 in it, because that was the original like amount that we sold really quickly right before it got locked again. But then like, he kind of told me like, no, I got it unlocked, it's fine. But maybe he never did. I don't know. They probably did a security hole like the first time. Okay, so that's what they did. Yeah, and that's what they did, and he couldn't get past that. What was the email, Jehu? PayPal will likely be refunding the people who paid into it. Yeah, so see, that probably already happened. It's been more than 6 months. Now it's probably been about a year since the whole thing happened. And I guess the customers are the ones that are going to win here, because I already refund all of those customers from my account, right? And it was hard because those were not transactions that existed on my thing. It was like transactions that existed on a different account. But I was like, I don't care. They're still my customers. It's my name. No one knows who this guy is. Everybody knows who I am. So I got to do the right thing. Refund them. Refund. I give everybody refunds. And so now they got, probably got 2 refunds. There you go. See, it pays off to buy batteries for me. What is your view about Tesla truck? Will it have improved novel or glass better for the 1,000,000-mile battery? I don't know. Yeah, I think so. I think it's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be good. People are gonna love it. Some of us are gonna hate the way it looks for a little while longer, and then eventually we're just gonna give in and just not care. Or it's even, do a 180 and love it. Love the way it looks. Love the way it does the thing that it does. I don't know. Who knows? I think it's going to be a great car. Like, technically, they have the ability to make great cars, right? It's just up until now, they used to make beautiful cars. Now, all of a sudden, they make an ugly one. And now we're just, yeah. Sometimes browsers remember passwords for online accounts, including email. Do you have access to a computer? No, he used his own computer. This guy is like in another country. No, I don't. So I never even knew that he made another account. I was like, I kind of knew. I didn't know exactly. I was like, I didn't know if I could trust him at first, right? So I was like, look, I don't know if I trust you. You're some dude on the internet, right? Let's have you accept all the payments, because if you screw people and they're coming after you, it's your account. You took the money. I'm just a victim like everyone else, right? So then we started doing that, right? I'm like, it's your account. You got to set up your own account. You're taking all the liability for this. I'm not taking any of that, right? So eventually when it got locked, right, and I was like, okay, well, then we got to try something else. So then I'm like, okay, I have an account that we can use. So then we started using that one, right? But then, it was like, I kind of got to know the guy a little bit more, and I'm like, okay. So now you can't screw people because, I have the money. So then if I don't give you the money, so there's like another level of security there. But then it just didn't work because, he was doing a terrible job shipping all his orders. And my customers, you guys are all so trusting that months went by and you guys were like, Like 2 months later, it's like, hey, you know, I never got that order. And I'm like, what? What do you mean you never got your order? Like, you ordered this like 2.5 months ago. What do you mean? How am I just finding out about this now? Like, had you told me that right away, then I would have been able to jump all over this guy. But I couldn't because I was kind of blind to the fact that he was. So anyways, that's what happened. Anyways, live and learn. I'm sad I convinced my friend I buy for the $5 Unity Vesk, but now Inertian Boards is bankrupt and they are not shipping or refunding. I feel responsible for my friends. Wait a minute, so they went bankrupt? I just got an email from them saying that I'm no longer an affiliate with them. And I was like, I was an affiliate? Like, what? And I emailed them back like, was I on your program? I didn't know I was a member of your affiliate program. Like, when did that happen? So then they didn't answer back. I didn't know that they had gone bankrupt. Oh, no way. They went bankrupt. Oh, that's sad. Huh. Yeah, that's a tough business, I guess, right? That's a tough bit. I remember I reached out to the guy. I was like, hey, you know, I get lots of people that build stuff and you sell all these products to build electric skateboards. So I'm like, you know, send me one and I'll, you know, do a video, I'll review it. I'll show people how to make it, how to use my own batteries, you know, how to use your I don't know. And he was like, he like either didn't have the money. I don't know. He was like, no, I can't send you a $2,000 board to just do a thing. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm like, I thought it was kind of weird. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think I could have generated a bunch of sales for him, but he didn't want to send me one. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And nobody ever holds cash for me either. They have made many mistakes before I figured out. Hi from Sweden. Thanks for all the videos. They would only refund if there were claims filed, though. So there were some. Well, oh, there we go. See, so maybe a lot of people won't file a claim because they already got a refund from me. So maybe that money is still in that account. Yeah, PayPal will probably pocket that money. I wonder what what's their policy like. If you leave money there for a long time, will it just disappear? Or if it was done by the seller. Shitty business partners suck. Yeah, and I've had my fair share through the years. My feels for the Tesla truck keep growing. Really? There you go. What did I tell you? Cars are all about feelings. It's all highly emotional thing with the cars. Project that percussion should be taken. That's safe, right? I have an APC 2200 UPS and I want to convert it to lithium. Should I use 7S modules and a BMS? Only if it's 24. If I'm not too familiar with the different models, but 2000, right? So it's like an 1800 one. It might be 48. So you might have to do like 2 of those in series. So like 14S might work better. 2 months feels normal for people who are used to doing business with China. Yeah, no, it was for me. It seemed like an eternity. I was like, this is like ancient history. What do you mean we never got the batteries that we sold you a long time ago? Yeah, tough if you have no system of tracking orders. Well, the thing is that my end of the deal was that I would do the promoting, all the experimenting, and then he would do everything else. He would do the shipping, the packaging, all the logistics. That's what he was supposed to do, right? And I don't think he did it on purpose. I think he was just a kid and he lacked attention to detail. And when you're shipping stuff, you need to be you need to pay attention to what you're doing, right? Very easily, you could just send Juan's order to John at a different stage, just because their first name starts with a J. You know what I mean? Like, and he did that, But these orders were like, oh, there's a $3,000 order that went to the guy that ordered $200 worth of batteries, And I'm like, and guess what? The guy that ordered $200 worth of batteries and got $3,000 worth of batteries, he's not getting back to us. I'm like, hey, you might have gotten the wrong thing. Can you get back to us? I never heard from that dude. Let's see here. 30 days or more for air mail stuff. Now I'm a little worried about my Black Friday order. No, now I'm keeping control of all that stuff. I mean, I got people that are doing the work, but but it's my account, it's my thing. I check it in there. I can see where you're at. I can see if they shipped. I kind of try to stay out of it just because they're doing their thing. But yeah, no, you should be safe with that. I don't. I try not to screw people. It's a bad thing, I mean, like that's like I have to come up here and face everyone all the time. So it's like I couldn't keep doing this if I just screwed people all the time. Inertian fired all their customer support, so you can't get any information. His employees came on the forum and told us they were dead after he was let go. One of the higher-ups stole a bunch of parts. What? No way. That sucks. Oh, well, that sucks. I mean, it's a tough business. For Model S modules and solar, can you use regular charge controller, or does it need special software to charge and discharge? No, I mean, yeah, I mean, preferably you want a charge controller that will deal with the lithium profile, right? But most important is really the voltage setting, right? So as long as it doesn't go, so it's a 6S module. So let me open the door for the dog. He wants to go. 6S. So it's a 22 volt nominal. So that's the problem, that it's not really a drop-in 24 volt module. So you'd have to have a charge controller that you can adjust the voltage, down to, 22. What's 22? What's the maximum that it can have? 4.2 times 6. Yeah, 25. So yeah, you need to be basically go no higher than 25 volts. And if you can adjust your charge controller to that, then you should be able to use it. But if not, then, because 24 lead acid batteries go all the way to like 29 or 30 or something, right? So you will definitely overcharge that. And, remember what happened to Rich Rebuilds when he used a 24 volt lead acid battery on a module. It'll catch fire. Oh, come on, boy. They are no longer in production, and many grid old-timer employees were let go. That sucks. That sucks. Despite promising Val and everyone that Juicebox would be allowed to continue on product development and sales for 3 years after the purchase. Wait, what? NRL are bought and now killed Juicebox. Oh yeah, they killed Juicebox? Oh, that's crazy. I actually talked to Val on the phone not too long ago. So they bought his company and then they just killed it? That's crazy. Another one off of the... Gee, see? I mean, business is just crazy. It's cutthroat, I guess. I've been thinking of doing the same, but I'm worried about the charging. How do I plan on having the UPS charge correctly? Well, yeah, there's no controlling that because those UPS are kind of set up, right, the way they are, and unless you can hack them somehow, yeah, I don't know. I just figure out what the resting voltage is after a charge, like monitor it, and then if it's if it's below 29 volts, then you're good to go. Let's see. It's probably 24. Question: the Chrysler Pacifica hybrid battery pack, is it better than the Chevy Bolt packs for high power EV conversions? They seem more space compact and easier to stack. Is the BMS so they don't have a BMS. I don't know if they're better. I think they're probably equivalent. But they are much more. They're easier to manage because they're these little squares. They're 16S. They're almost the same. I mean, they're essentially the same cells. I don't know if the chemistry is different, but they're the same pouch cells from LG Chem. I think when it comes to the specs, they're about the same. They're used very similarly. Right? Yeah, they're both hybrid cars, so they both require about the same, amperage out of those cells and stuff. Yeah, I think you can go either way. I'd say they both of those don't have a BMS. Well, yeah, those don't have a BMS in the modules. It's a separate unit, and you have to connect it. But no one ever hacked that and figured out. We're all been using, third-party BMSs on those. Midnight, I'm bouncing batteries now while watching J-Hood. Happy DIY or day using my batteries. There you go. Did you see Rich Rebels talk about how Cybertruck grows on you like a fat girl does? It's true. I started seeing that video and then I didn't finish it. I was like doing other stuff and then I just got up and left, and the time I came back it was done and I didn't. Rich is funny. He's a funny guy. I was on the phone. Wait. It wasn't Rich. It was the phone guy who has fun rivaling with Linus. Wait, no, I think it was Rich Ribbles. I've been thinking about the best Escape battery that can be carried on a plane. I think 4 power banks that are 3S3P97 watt-hours, and you assemble them into a 12S. You'll be able to do that with my my little PCBs there that are pictured on the in the thumbnail of this video. So this is gonna be probably like a week before I get those, and I'll start playing with those things. And yeah, so that's a that's a modular PCB that you'll be able to just attach, and you make a 10S or a 13S or a 6S, whatever you want. Employees, I have his personal cell number. That's how I found out. Oh, wow. If it's a single 12-volt battery in the UPS, it's only 12 volts. Yeah. I'm in the planning phases of building a battery pack for my off-grid cabin. I have a battery beefy generator, and I want to charge batteries pretty quickly. Do you have any experience with that? Multiple chargers on one pack. I've done that. I've charged my bus with several charges at the same time. In fact, right now I have 2 chargers. Yeah, it doesn't matter. As long as all chargers are set up the same, right? So they're all set to quit at a certain voltage, then, the only thing is that if you have 2 chargers, the battery will reach that voltage quicker, and then both of them hopefully will start cutting back, at the top or whatever. Yeah, as long as you don't charge your battery too fast, you don't exceed the safe levels or your battery or whatever, then you should be fine. You could use little chargers, a bunch of them, or one big one. Doesn't matter. Any comments on the 7S50 MBMS with Bluetooth from AliExpress? I haven't had an opportunity to use one. I will order. I've been meaning to order some from that guy. I order some of the other boards, and you know, there's some stuff that I don't like, and I need to have them change it before I can order more. I did update them with the most current version of the PCB, and so that's good, because the older one had an issue that in some instances could cause a short, right? And so we upgraded that so that the new version doesn't do that. So I was like, okay, there you go. If you're gonna be selling my stupid thing, at the very least sell the latest one. And so that's what it is. What? Is it time to go? You're going to sleep? All right. Well, Crystal's going to sleep, so I guess I gotta get off now. It's late when people are going to sleep. Either that or she's old and she should just go to sleep early. No, she gets up early, that's why. Unlike me, night owl. All right, guys. Let's call it a night. You guys have been great. A lot of you guys showed up today. Dude, there's like 500 people watching.
You don't gotta stop on the time when you go to sleep.
Thanks, Crystal, for putting an end to our party here. We were all having fun. Fun killer. Crystal, the fun killer. Everybody, thank Crystal for killing our fun here. All right, guys, thank you. I can't promise I'll have a video for you. Well, I will have a video this week, because I think I'm going to finish my bus this week, so I will have a walkthrough. I'm going to tell you all the stuff that I've been doing, whether you find it interesting or not. Make that video. It's mostly just restoring cars and bolting stuff and welding and, you know, yeah, it's non-battery stuff. That's the problem, right? And I don't know. Well, some of you guys will find that interesting or not. But anyways, thank you. We'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you for your likes. If you guys hit that thumbs up thing, then it will help this video. We'll see you guys on the next one. Okay. Bye, boys. Here we go. Where's the other thing?